2-minute break, and then we'll get ready for Game 2 of the playoffs as the Knights try to keep their season alive. Quinn Dufort after this 2-minute break on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. Win coming up in 3, 2, 1. Back at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Corvallis Knights looking to keep their season alive tonight as they take on the Bend Elks in Game 2 of the best-of-3 playoff series. A guy that knows the territory here, Quinn Dufort, back for his second year with the Knights. It's been a little bit, Quinn, this year, not the full and complete experience because of just circumstances, and earlier in the year, you got hit with something that we hear about from time to time. You probably heard about it too, but never thought you'd be afflicted with mononucleosis. Tell me a little bit about that, if you would. We'll get to some other things in a moment. But when did it hit you? Were you feeling symptoms for a while before you actually had it diagnosed?
Yeah, it kind of just hit me like a truck. It was, I think, the second series of the year when we played Bend down there. Got back after that third game, and the next day just wasn't feeling myself. Hung out around here for a couple more days, just not feeling great. And then I went to the doctors and tested positive and went home, shut down for the summer. And yeah, it wasn't great for the first couple weeks. It was pretty rough, just not doing much. But luckily, I was able to recover faster than the normal time, like in about 3.5 weeks for me. And then just got right back into training and baseball activity, so it was good.
Do you feel all the way back right now?
I do feel all the way back. I hit after about 3 weeks. I got back into the weight room and was able to gain the weight back that I lost, and then started doing more baseball activities and just being back here, being able to take BP every day, throwing. Definitely feel 100%. So.
Quinn Dufort, my guest. Quinn, did they tell you when they diagnosed you that, hey, you are almost certainly done for the summer? I mean, so did you kind of defy the prognosis?
Yeah, they told me that it would be about 6 weeks. That I'd be out of baseball, and then that would be right around this time of the year. And then, if coming back after 6 weeks not doing anything, I probably wouldn't be able to play to my best level. But yeah, being able to recover faster than that was definitely really good, and just super excited to be back with the team.
Part of that must be, Quinn, just your own commitment to fitness and conditioning and being in pretty good shape when it hit you like a truck. But it hit you like a truck when you're already a pretty well-conditioned, hard-working athlete. Do you think that helped you get through it quicker?
I think so, yeah. I think being a young athlete like myself, like I was able to recover faster than the normal person, which was huge. And then, I really took like time off, not doing anything, just resting, recovering at home. And then I eased my way back into like working out and stuff. I didn't hit it super hard as soon as I came back. I think I played it pretty well. So yeah.
Well, it's great to have you back for the stretch run. And I know you guys, last night was a little disappointing in Bend, but do you feel like, hey, you guys are built to come back, take care of business these next couple of days?
Absolutely. This team is stacked with a bunch of dudes. And yeah, last night didn't go our way, but, we're ready to get after him today and make a run at this thing. Yeah, I'm really excited for this game and for the rest of the season.
Quinn, when you talk about being excited for this game and the rest of the season, that's first things first. But then you go back and report to Portland in the fall. Tell me a little bit about your sense of expectation for yourself, for the program, not being able to play redshirting this past spring. So where are you in that whole process, thinking about your upcoming season?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Last year didn't really know what to expect going into the fall. Had a good summer. But you don't know what to expect going in as a freshman. So going back in, knowing kind of what to expect, I'm excited. And then we're bringing a bunch of guys back this year, a lot of new guys coming in that are really solid. So I'm really looking forward to this fall and this upcoming season for Portland. Yeah.
Are you going to be a two-way guy there?
I will be. Yes. I think they want me coming back hitting and pitching. So I'm excited for that.
And that's something I assume you've always done. Do you favor one or the other?
I don't know.
If somebody put the proverbial, hey, you got to make a choice right now, which would you choose?
Honestly, I've always thought I wanted to be a pitcher when I grow up, or if I had to choose, probably pitching. But hitting's right up there too.
What about pitching for you, Quinn? What are you working on when you've had opportunities? They've been limited, but what are the things as a pitcher you feel like you're already pretty good at, but you're working to get better at?
Yeah, for me, just coming back from mono, especially, like I told the coaches, probably not 100% ready to get on the mound as much. So just working in the bullpen with Bo Kearns has been really helpful. And, I think my specialty is just being able to throw strikes, get guys out, keep my pitch count down, but I'm really trying to, increase my velo. And that's like what I've been training for, like gaining weight and gaining strength to throw harder. And I think that'll be a huge stepping stone for me if I can gain velo.
Quinn, it was fun to watch you last year. I wish there were more opportunities to do so here in 25, but glad you're back when it really counts. So I appreciate you taking time again for this. Thank you, and congratulations on getting through it, and look forward to the rest of this playoff weekend and beyond. And we'll see you when the Beavers and Pilots play each other again next year. Thanks a lot, Quinn. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That's Quinn Dufour, the pride of Ida B. Wells High School, the University of Portland, coming through magnificently. A real challenging summer with mononucleosis, but he expressed very candidly what that was like. But here he is in uniform, and he'll be ready to contribute tonight and tomorrow and beyond. It's great to have you with us. It's the Knights and Bend in Game 2. The Knights looking to play their way into a hot Sunday for the division series tomorrow night. Game 2 coming up on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. Make sure it's here. It is. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, Quinn. Good luck.
Thank you.
Leading off for the Elks, number 3, Brady Elliott.
Elimination game at hand for the Corvallis Knights, but here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, Zach Johnson delivers. Benji Solano swings and fouls it back. We're underway on a warm and beautiful evening here in the Mid-Willamette Valley after a wonderful night on the high desert last night in Bend. Wonderful from the standpoint of the low AQI, the temperature, the atmospherics, a beautiful Vince Skinner Stadium. Great to be there. But the Elks had the better time of all in defeating the Knights to put the Knights up against it. The strike one pitch missing from Zach Johnson. Zach trying to play the role of stopper tonight. Comes to the plate on the 1-1 pitch and delivers a fastball on the inside corner for strike two. 1-2 to Benji Solano. Zach Johnson rocks back from out of a stretch position and delivers high and away. 2-2 to Benji Solano, leading off at shortstop for Bend. Makoa Sniffen batting second at second base. Andrew Graham hitting third, the DH. Easton Amundsen, the cleanup hitter, at first. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Strike three, and a good start for Zach Johnson and the Corvallis Knights. Ryan Vandenbrink batting fifth and catching for Bend. Teddy Tokheim hitting sixth in left. Jack Lafitte batting seventh at third base. Batting eighth in right field for the Elks, Zach Carlson. Eli Pupo hitting ninth in center field. And Lucas Hines, a 6-foot, 210-pound left-hander, getting the start. The pride of Meridian, Idaho. One out, nobody on. Makoa Sniffen, the batter. Zach Johnson to the plate. First pitch is in the turf. Ball one, 1-0. You note the absence of the league's batting champion in 2025 and incoming Oregon State Beaver, Jace Miller. Jace injured his MCL on that diving catch last night that the Knights thought Jace trapped. Jace made a great catch to help quell a modest Beaver threat, and Jace paid a price for it and is waiting on a second opinion about the prognosis. Fastball strike from Zach Johnson to even the count at 1-1. The right-hander delivers a breaking ball called strike two. Kirk Ordway, the home plate umpire. Tom Purchase at first. Lance Kreck at third. We're underway. Warm and breezy and pleasant here in the Mid-Valley. The 1-2 pitch from Johnson, breaking ball and check swing on appeal. It wasn't even granted. It wasn't close. No swing. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes to Makoa Sniffen. Andrew Graham on deck. Zach Johnson to the plate and misses. Down and away to run the count full to 3-2. Zach working with battery mate Ian Fernandez. Trey Swigert at first. Thomas Ferrajaro at second. Blake Wilson at short. Cole Katayama Stahl at third. Zach rocks back and comes 3-2. Fastball outside, ball 4. He had him 1-2 and issues a free pass with 1 away, and Andrew Graham, the designated hitter, will step in. For the Knights in the outfield, Brooks Avery in left, Brock Kettleson in center, Antonio Castro in right. Thus, both of these teams are down a couple of their key offensive players. Jace Miller, the league's leading hitter, and Maddox Risky, who led the Knights in runs batted in most of the season, neither available for the rest of this series, which will conclude either tonight or tomorrow. If Bend wins, the Knights season is over. If the Knights prevail, then we'll settle this matter tomorrow at 6:06. Andrew Graham takes a strike, 0-1 the count. No score, top of the first, a throw to first base. Makoa Sniffen back to the bag. The Knights trying to keep their championship hopes alive. After winning 7 straight, lost last year to Portland. The Pickles prevailed in a tight one up the road at Chemeketa Community College last night, 4-3. Another throw to first, and Makoa back to the bag. Bend likes to run. Alan Cox, the head coach, calls the offense within the dugout. 20 for 22, Makoa Sniffen is in stolen bases, and the Elks have stolen 111. Another throw to first, a good quick move by Johnson, and Makoa Sniffen back. But that did elicit a collective ooh and a little bit of an ah from a good crowd coming into Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, trying to cheer the Knights on, and some folks have made the trip over from beautiful Central Oregon. Sniffen bluffs the strike one pitch to Andrew Graham, misses away, ball 1, 1-1. Johnny Kemp coaches at third base for the Elks. Dan Grice coaches at first. Again, Alan Cox calls the offense within the dugout. And the pitching coach is Jeff Brown. for Bend, which has had a good campaign. The 1-1 fastball outside, ball 2, 2-1. The Knights scored 3 runs in the top of the first inning last night and then essentially stopped hitting, doing much of anything at the plate, and Bend came back to win it, to put the Knights up against it this evening. The 2-1 pitch, a blooper into shallow left center. Going out to get it is Blake Wilson. Good pitch by Zach Johnson. He got up and in on Graham, and all Graham could do was just weakly get a swing and muscle a little pop fly that Wilson handles. 2 down. Easton Amundsen, the batter. 3:30 down both lines at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. 365 to the power alleys. 400 feet to straightaway center. Sniffen with 2 down is picked off. A good move by Zach Johnson. Sniffen was trying to extend the lead, and Zach had been getting close and closer. And now he does more than that. He gets his man and faces the minimum in the top of the first inning. Makoa Sniffen picked off by Zach Johnson to end the top of the first. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We go to the bottom half. The left-hander, Lucas Hines, goes to the bump. We'll give you the Knights lineup and see how the Knights fare in the bottom of the first. Ben goes scoreless, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. And we're glad to know that tonight's game is being picked up by KBVR-TV. Great to have you all with us, back in 90 on the live stream.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
The first inning, no score. The starting lineup for the Corvallis Knights in their bid to keep their championship hopes alive tonight looks this way. Leading off at shortstop, Blake Wilson. Batting second in center field, Brock Kettleson. Thomas Ferrajaro hitting third. At second base, Maverick Russell, the cleanup hitter and designated hitter. Cole Katayama Stahl batting fifth at third base. Trey Swigert hitting sixth at first. Batting seventh and catching, Ian Fernandez. Antonio Castro batting eighth in right field. Brooks Avery hitting ninth in left. Zach Johnson just faced the minimum in the top of the first inning, getting the start. Breeze is picking up at about 6:45, blowing out towards left center. The first pitch from Lucas Hines. The left-hander delivers a strike. He's gone 14 innings, his third start. 12 hits. He's walked 18, struck out 8, a record of 1-0, an ERA of a little over 8. The numbers are not necessarily intimidating for the Knights as they step in, but we'll see how Lucas fares pitching against a team that really scuffled at the plate last night. The strike one pitch missing high to Blake Wilson. Hines back to the dish and misses high again. Ball 2, 2-1. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Lucas Hines and Ryan Vandenbrink, the battery. Easton Amundsen at first, Makoa Sniffen at second, Benji Solano at short, Jack Lafitte at third, Teddy Tokheim in left, Eli Pupo in center, Zach Carlson in right. Wilson tries to check his swing, and on appeal, no swing, says Tom Purchase, which strikes me as a bit of a break for the Corvallis Knights. And the count to Blake goes to 3-1. Brock Kettleson on deck. From the stretch, the left-hander Lucas Hines delivers outside, ball 4, and ball 4 has been problematic this summer for Lucas. He issues a 5-pitch walk, and Brock Kettleson to the plate in this scoreless affair in the bottom of the first. A pretty good crowd has come in. Very warm day today. Grateful to have spent it in a couple of wonderful ways, getting to watch the Oregon State football team's first scrimmage of fall camp. Some really impressive action, particularly quarterback Malik Murphy throwing a touchdown pass to the pride of Crook County High School in Prineville, Eddie Freehoff, coming up the ladder on the depth chart. Football just around the corner. Still grateful to be in the Corvallis Knights baseball season, don't get me wrong, but it was nice to see football and know that it isn't far off. Kettleson swings and misses, 0-1 the count. August 30th, Cal across the way at Reeser. The strike one pitch to Brock, misses away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Blake Wilson, the runner at first base for the Knights, and an outstanding runner he is, 15 for 17 in stolen bases. The Knights with 168 steals, Bend with 111. Both teams deploy the running game effectively. A throw to first base, Blake Wilson back to the bag. And after that, then, a birthday gathering for a good friend, and we floated the Willamette, and it was gorgeous. And many others have made that same choice today. The hip surgery that I had recently, and just haven't had a chance to get on the river much. It was glorious today, and tomorrow and Monday it's going to be hot too, so we may get back there. Kettleson, it's a ground ball with a lot of English on it, and it chews up Jack Lafitte's glove, bounces away off the glove into foul territory, and everybody's safe. An error on Lafitte, but that ball was squirming. Kind of had the look of one of those 4th of July snakes that you light up and just bouncing around. And I knew when it left the bat of Kettleson, it was going to be problematic for Lafitte, even if he fielded cleanly, because Kettleson, a blazing runner, would have made it close at first. Instead, now the Knights have 2 on and nobody out for Thomas Ferrajaro, who is likely up there to bunt. The switch hitter batting from the right side, with the Knights hoping to get the early jump. They did last night and it didn't last, but at home they'd like to take their chances with an early lead. Thomas isn't bunting. He takes high, ball 1, 1-0. Brook going against his usual pattern, but it is early. Ferrajaro, a very good hitter, the team leader in RBIs, 304, no homers, 36 runs batted in. Perhaps Brook loath to take the bat out of Thomas's hands with 2 on and nobody out in this scoreless affair. The strike one pitch, again, not showing. Thomas takes high, ball 2, 2-0. It was a quick but delightful trip over to Bend yesterday. Always love it. The only one I've been able to make this summer. And to get over and be blessed with an AQI of between 18 and 25, depending on the reporting station, to see the clear blue skies and the resplendent cascades in the background throughout the evening. It was a blessing to be there with that great atmosphere in that old, wonderful ballpark. The 2-0 pitch, Ferrajaro takes a strike, and the count 2-1. The fans were really into it, and I think gave a big lift, too. You could tell by the way the Elks players were reacting to all the good things that they did, and whenever they would score, get a hit, the crowd was into it. It was a fun atmosphere to be in. Now the Knights fans hoping to return the favor tonight. 2 on, nobody out, no score, bottom of the first. Out of the stretch works Lucas Hines, breaking ball just inside, ball 3, and Ryan Vandenbrink shows his displeasure, I think, with the call by Kirk Ordway more than anything else. Almost looked heavenward, asked for time, and will go out to the mound and talk to Lucas Hines. But I think more than anything else, Kirk was upset that Ordway did not construe that pitch as a strike. Kirk is the home plate arbiter this evening, with Tom Purchase, the first base umpire, and Lance Kreck at third. Brook Knight going through a series of signs from the third base box. A leadoff walk to Blake Wilson. Brock Kettleson aboard on an error. 3-1 to Thomas Ferragero. Maverick Russell on deck. Vandenbrink settles back in, back of the plate, goes to one knee, his right knee, as he sets up for the 3-1 pitch, which is very high to load the bases. We'll see if that prompts some early activity for the Bend Elks. They have the luxury of a tomorrow. The Knights do not. They have to win to play their way into tomorrow. And Jeff Brown, the pitching coach, asks for time and is striding slowly out to the mound. With some stirring going on, peering through the fence and the chain link fence. It looks like a right-hander beginning to stretch out. Not throwing, but in the throwing motion. And we'll try to keep an eye on just whom that might be. It looked to me like it was Carter Hess, who has appeared in 3 games and worked 5 2/3 innings. A position player, versatile utility player that was going through some throwing motions, not actually yet playing a game of catch out in the left field bullpen. Maverick Russell, the batter, with the bases loaded, nobody out, no score, bottom of the first inning. Maverick, the hottest hitter on the Knights team. The right guy to have up, hitting .276 during the course of the regular season. Had another run batted in last night, 20 on the year. Left on left, breaking ball down and away, ball 1, 1-0. Blake Wilson at third, Brock Kettleson at second, Thomas Ferragero at first. Nobody out. The infield at double play depth up the middle for the Elks. Lucas Hines comes set. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball for a strike. Maverick was taking all the way. The count 1-1. Cole Katayama Stahl on deck. One of the better crowds I've seen in terms of a playoff game when there's no ability to plan for it. It's not on the pocket schedule or the refrigerator magnet schedule, is it? No, but here they are, understanding what the game means and coming out in good numbers. The Knights have built a tremendous core of a fan base here since moving in 2007. And this is the 7th meeting in a strong rivalry put on hiatus a little bit. The pitch fouled away by Russell, the count 1-2. 7 meetings in postseason play between 2008 and 2015. The 1-2 pitch way outside. Good block by Ryan Vandenbrink to even the count at 2-2. And after the 2015 Bend triumph in the best 2 out of 3 series, this is the first time in 10 years that they've gotten together in the postseason, and Bend has the upper hand at the moment, up 1-0, but the Knights trying to get the early lead tonight. The 2-2 breaking ball popped foul and playable for Ryan Vandenbrink, who makes the catch near the Knights dugout. One away. The thing that's frustrating, I'm sure, for Maverick is he went after a pitch that would have been ball 3 and just wasn't able to get the barrel to it in time to do any damage and fouls out. One away. Good work by Lucas Hines. And now Cole Katayama Stahl, the batter, with the Knights hoping to avoid some of the frustrations that beset them last night in the Game 1 loss at Vince Jenna. The pitch from Hines, fastball away, 1-0. I will probably go back and forth between Genna and Jenna because Vince himself did after visiting the old country, going back home to his roots in Italy. He'd been calling himself Vince Genna over here most of his life, visited his family in Italy, and they said, no, Vincent, it's Jenna. He came back and said, you got to call me Jenna once in a while to honor the family back home. The 1-0 pitch, high and away, ball 2. So if I go back and forth, I'm only following the example of the great man himself, Mr. Baseball, who did so much for Central Oregon and youth and baseball for so many years, the director of Parks and Rec, establishing so many of the parks and trails that so many have enjoyed through the decades. The 2-0 pitch swung on and missed, and the count 2-1. No score, bottom of the first inning. Lucas Hines walked Blake Wilson. Kettleson aboard on an error. Ferragero walked. Maverick Russell fouled out. Now 2-1 to Katayama Stahl. Cole takes outside Ball 3, 3-1. Another left-handed hitter, Trey Swigert, on deck. Lucas Hines from the left side. 3 balls and a strike. And Cole Katayama-Stahl, given the numbers for Lucas and the 2 walks already, needs to be very selective. He doesn't like what he sees, and he takes, and it's a strike. Good work by Lucas. Still in the fight with Katayama-Stahl, an account of 3-2. Hines working out of the stretch, peering into Ryan Vandenbrink. Blake Wilson at third, Brock Kettleson at second, Thomas Ferragaro at first. The 3-2 pitch is taken. Low and away, ball 4. And the Knights get the early lead, 1-0, with Blake Wilson coming down the line, touches home. And the Knights will take their chances with an early lead for the second straight game. Last night at Vince Guenna, the Knights scored 3 in the top of the first, but to the great credit of the Elks, they came right back in the bottom of the first to score 3 and essentially controlled proceedings from that point on. 1-0 Knights, Trey Swigert the batter. The bases remain loaded with 1 out. Trey takes up and in from Lucas Hines, ball 1, 1-0. Put the glasses back on and see if there's anyone actually throwing now in the Elks bullpen. Difficult to discern. 1-0 to Trey Swigert with the bases loaded and 1 out and a run in. Hines comes back 1-0 and misses again. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. It just doesn't feel as though Jeff Brown and Alan Cox would go too much longer. If another Jim Bouton special occurs, a ball 4, I think that would probably signal the end of the evening for Lucas. 2 balls and no strikes with the sacks full and 1 out, and the 2-0 pitch is high and inside, ball 3. We may be coming to that moment of reckoning here in a moment. 3-0 to Trey Swigert. Ian Fernandez on deck. Hines trying to battle his way through and stay in the game, and in a very real sense, last night it was a similar situation for the starter Eric Pajunas, who got through a troublesome first. The 3-0 pitch from Hines just misses inside, ball 4 to Trey Swigert. Trey picks up an RBI on the bases loaded walk. Kettleson eases his way down the line, steps on the plate for the Knights' second run of the inning, 2-0, and Ian Fernandez the batter. 4 walks in the inning. Again, it's difficult to see through the kind of the bright sunlight and the fence and so on, but I'm not sure anyone's throwing yet. Back of Lucas, and his first pitch seemed to surprise Ryan Vandenbrink, a breaking ball up, ball 1, 1-0 to Ian. 2-0 Knights, bottom of the first inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. The infield remains at double play depth. From the stretch, Lucas to the plate. Fernandez waves at the 1-0 pitch and doesn't get it, and Brook was not pleased with the swing. Again, I think the pitch was a little bit out of the zone. So for a guy that's struggled with his control mightily as Lucas has, you don't want to give him any help at all. That seemed to be the nonverbal I caught from Brook. 1-1 to Fernandez. Breaking ball up and away. Ball 2, 2-1. Thomas Ferragaro at third. Cole Katayama-Stahl at second. Trey Swigert at first. 2-1 to Ian Fernandez. 2-0 Knights. Looking to take their chances with the crooked number lead again, and they're a pitch away from a 3 spot again. The 2-1 offering to Fernandez is high. Ball 3, 3-1. Lucas Hines trying to channel Eric Pajunas, who got through last night somehow in the first. The 3-1 pitch, very high. Ball 4 to Fernandez. And the Knights lead it 3-0. Thomas Ferragaro scores. A bases loaded walk and an RBI for Ian Fernandez. And that brings Antonio Castro to the plate. It was at this point last night where Pajunas found himself. Now, he didn't walk as many as we've seen the left-hander Lucas Hines deal with tonight. 3 straight and 5 in the inning. But he'd given up 3 runs and then worked his way out and stayed in the game and pitched very well. His first delivery to Antonio Castro misses high. Ball 1. 3-0 Knights, bottom of the first. Bases loaded, 1 out. The 1-0 pitch. Castro hammers it toward the gap in right center. Zach Carlson on the move, can't get it. It goes all the way to the fence. Katayama Stahl scores. Trey Swigert scores. Into third base goes Ian Fernandez. A 2-run double for Castro. The Knights lead it 5-0. One of the things that can happen to a pitcher that is struggling as much as we've seen Lucas Hines with the control, there comes a point where he doesn't want to walk anybody again, so he just said, okay, I'm just going to throw it down the middle and take my chances and pitch to contact. And so the wildness gives over to being wild in the strike zone. And Antonio Castro makes the young man pay a price for that, if that indeed was in his mind or he just didn't execute the pitch he wanted. Either way, Castro blasts a double to the gap in right center field. The Knights have a 5 spot on the board in this elimination game. We'll see a new pitcher coming in out of the Bend Elks bullpen. I think it's going to be a utility player named Carter Hess, but we'll find out when we return. The Knights 5, Bend nothing. Bottom of the first inning, Brooks Avery to face the new pitcher as the Knights bat around. Back in 2 on the Knights live stream, KBVR-TV and Joe Radio.
Just to remind you, you are listening to Terrarium Time with me, DJ Chameleon, only on KBVR Corvallis. It is indeed Carter Hess taking over. Carter not far from the home of the Bend Elks. He's from beautiful Lapine, and he competes or is getting ready to compete at Mount Hood Community College. He inherits a tough situation. The Knights lead it 5-0 for one, and the Knights have runners at second and third with 1 out for another. And Carter Hess does something that I'm sure pleases Jeff Brown and Alan Cox to no end, in that he throws a breaking ball for a strike on the first pitch to Brooks Avery. And that's what the Elks desperately need now. Just somebody to throw strikes and try to put an end to this nightmarish first. 5-0 Knights. The strike one pitch hit sharply under the glove of the shortstop Benji Solano into left field. Down the line to score for the Corvallis Knights, Ian Fernandez. Avery with a rope on one hop that the shortstop Benji Solano was not able to handle, but he is going to be charged with an error. An RBI, nevertheless, will be given to Brooks Avery with Solano back. 6-0 Knights. And Blake Wilson comes back to the plate for the second time in the inning. On the play, Antonio Castro to third. Runners at the corners and one out. Carter Hess, a utility player, two-way player, works out of the stretch and delivers a first pitch inside to Blake Wilson. Blake drew a walk against Lucas Hines, and the Knights have scored 6, and they don't want to stop yet. They know that baseball games are difficult to win. Last night they had a 3-0 lead and lost. Tonight they're up 6-0, and they want to keep adding on here in the first. There goes Avery. The pitch is outside. Vandenbrink's throw is not in time, and Brooks Avery continues to do his thing on the bases. And it's fitting that Brooks would get another stolen base on a night. This is August 9th, 2025. It was on August 9th, 1975, that Davey Lopes stole his 32nd consecutive base to set a Major League record, breaking Max Carey's record for consecutive steals. A chopper up along third, foul. Now, that may be the National League record. Cobb may have had the American League. I don't know. That can be looked up by any number of you. I don't have the time at the moment to do it. But Davey Lopes, I know, on this date in 75, stole his 32nd consecutive base. And Brooks Avery ended the regular season with 28. Brooks now has stolen 30 in a row, going back to last night's game. The 1-2 pitch to Blake Wilson. Swung on and missed, strike 3. It's a big out, only in that the Knights had a chance to pick up a run with an out, but not a strikeout. 2 down, Brock Kettleson the batter with runners at second and third. And Brock trying to provide the coup de grace of the inning here. A base hit here, kind of, it finishes the gigantic frame in the proper way. With runners in scoring position, second and third, 2 down. Carter Hess comes set. Brock Kettleson trying to deliver the 2-out, 2-run base hit. It would not be a knockout punch because there are many innings yet to play, but it would certainly be a gigantic hole for Ben to try to dig out of. The pitch missing away to Brock, ball 1, 1-0. Antonio Castro at third, Brooks Avery at second, 2 down, 6-0 Knights. Kettleson aboard on an error earlier in the inning. He takes just outside, ball 2, 2-0. The switch hitting Thomas Ferraggiaro on deck. The eminent Alan Thayer, attorney at law, Innovative Law Group in Eugene, who has been our correspondent on all things litigious on the Joe Beaver Show the past couple of years, seeing his first ever Knights game here tonight with his daughter Catherine. Great to have Alan in the house. Pitch clock violation charge to Carter Hess, taking too long, and so the count goes to 3-0 to Brock Kettleson with first base open. Thomas Ferraggiaro waiting his turn. The Knights leading 6-0. They have 1 hit in the inning. That was the 2-run double by Castro. Antonio from third, Brooks Avery from second. Kettleson takes, and he was taking all the way. The bat on his shoulder, Dick Wakefield style, takes a strike, and the count 3-1. Carter Hess on in relief of Lucas Hines. The two-way player set. The 3-1 pitch, Kettleson takes a fastball inside. To reload the bases, Thomas Ferraggiaro will come to the plate for the second time in the inning. Six walks issued by Ben pitching in the inning. Thomas Ferraggiaro drawing one of them and scoring one of the 6 runs. 6 runs, 1 hit. But the Knights, who are playing for their season tonight, no apologies in terms of the nature of how they score runs. They're just glad to have them. Out of the stretch, works Hess, sails the fastball high. Ball one, 1-0. It was nice to visit with Eddie Freehoff after practice today. When I think about Lapine, I think about some of the great schools on the other side of the mountain. Eddie Freehoff out of Crook County High School made his mark today in the first scrimmage. He looked good, and Ryan Gunderson, Trent Bray, Eddie himself all talked about the great progress that Eddie has made, and he presents a good frame. That's encouraging to see. The pitch on the way misses high and away to Ferrajaro. 2 balls, no strikes with the bases loaded and 2 down, 6-0 Knights. Carter again from the stretch and now delivers a strike. The count 2-1. Carter went to Summit High School, but his hometown listed as Lapine. 2 balls and a strike, comes to the plate. Ferrajaro pops it up. This should get Hess through. A high foul ball. Jack Lafitte in foul territory makes the catch, and the inning is over. The Knights settle for 6, and I say that, and I'm not trying to be sardonic in any way. They settle for 6, but they had the bases loaded and a chance to add 1 or 2 more. But they do get 6. That's the good news in their quest to keep their season alive on just 1 hit and error, 3 left. We go to the second. The Knights 6, Ben nothing back in 90 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio. Nothing Knights to the top of the second inning. Zach Johnson delivers a first pitch strike to Easton Amundsen. Comes back with a fastball. Swung on and missed by the left-hand hitting slugger. No balls and 2 strikes. Zach coming into this outing, 44 innings, 34 hits, 13 walks, 36 strikeouts, a record of 4-1, an ERA of 3.47. The strike 2 pitch to Easton misses high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Easton Amundsen, Ryan Vandenbrink, and Teddy Tokheim in the second. Ben without the league's leading hitter. Jace Miller injured himself on a great catch last night. Fastball just inside. Ball 2, 2-2 to Easton Amundsen. I'm told it's an MCL. We hope a strain, not a tear, but either way, he'll be done for the series, which will conclude either tonight or tomorrow, and that's disappointing. The 2-2 fastball foul back. And I'm sure in Jace's mind, as he's getting ready to report to fall ball at Oregon State, that it won't limit what he's able to do as fall ball gets underway next month. The 2-2 pitch to Easton Amundsen, swung on and missed. Strike 3, 1 away. The second strikeout for Zach Johnson. Ryan Vandenbrink also getting ready for another season for Mitch Canham's Beavers. Ryan, a catcher, will step in with 1 out and nobody on. Ryan Vandenbrink takes a strike and the count 0-1. There's a young man walking through the concourse with crutches on, and using crutches, I should say, and I don't know if that might be Jace himself. The strike one pitch, fastball from Zach, swung on and missed in the count 0-2. One out, nobody on in the second. 6-0 Knights. Vandenbrink steps out of the box for a moment, trying to gather himself. Strong young man, had a big hit in the first inning last night, a 2-run double. He looks at a slider just outside the count 1-2. For replacement glass or new vinyl windows in your home, call Smith Glass in Corvallis and Albany. Smith Glass, a leading residential and commercial glass service for the Mid-Valley and a longtime partner of the Corvallis Knights, on the cutting edge since 1945 at Smith Glass. Fastball swung on and missed. Zach Johnson appears to be buoyed by the 6-run lead. He's come out here in the second in his dealing, throwing strikes. He's ahead of the count to each of the first two hitters, Amundsen and Vandenbrink, and then finish them off with strikeouts. Teddy Tokheim, first ball swinging, a fly ball to right field. Antonio Castro is right there to make the catch. And a tremendous job by Zach. If a team scores 6 and you can go out and just keep that momentum rolling from a pitching standpoint and get 3 quick outs as Johnson did, excellent work on Zach's part. We go to the bottom of the second in this elimination game for the Knights. So far, so good. Corvallis 6, Bend nothing. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream, KBVR-TV and Joe Radio.
We want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Papay Material Handling keeps you moving one step closer to home. The Knights and Papay Material Handling teamed up again in support of Community Outreach, Inc. all summer. COI, Community Outreach, Inc., a local nonprofit helping people lead healthy and productive lives through all challenges. For every Knights stolen base, the Knights and Papay Material Handling donate $20 to COI. Teamwork, process, impact, and opportunity, creating transformative pathways to life. The Knights with life early, trying to keep their season alive, indeed. And the first pitch to Maverick Russell misses high and away from Carter Hess. 1 ball and no strikes. 6-0 Knights, bottom of the second. If the Knights hang on and win this thing, we'll see you tomorrow night. 6:06 to settle the series. A high pop-up off the bat of Maverick Russell into shallow right. Zach Carlson moves in to make the catch. 1 away. Cole Katayama Stahl will be the hitter. I talk about Vince Jenna. Part of that anecdote, and I'd heard it before through Kelsey Herco, maybe Michael as well, but because I've heard over the years, Genna and Jenna. When I first called games at Vince Genna 40 years ago, in the summer of '85 in the Northwest League, the Bend Phillies and the Eugene Emeralds, I remember distinctly calling it Genna, certainly asking everybody about it, and was saying, oh, it's Genna. But I think Vince may have gone to the homeland after that or whatever and started to say, well, could be Genna too. So either way works. Cole Katayama Stahl takes high, ball 1-0. 6-0 Knights, bottom of the second. Carter Hess back to the plate, away, ball 2-0. But part of that story was shared with me yesterday by Vanessa Ivey, the manager of the Deschutes County Historical Society and Museum. What a delightful person, and I've got something to share that means so much to me, and I hope some of you know her and have visited the museum. Katayama Stahl hits foul off to the left and out of play. Waldo away, the count 2-1. As I was making my way in from Sisters, got back in cell service and making my way in from Sisters into Bend, I had seen an article in the Bend Bulletin in the archives from 2014 or 2013 it might have been, about the history of baseball in Bend that the Bend Bulletin wrote about under the auspices of Vanessa Ivey and the Deschutes County Historical Society and Museum. A pitch to Cole Katayama Stahl misses. The count goes to 3-1. 1 out, nobody on in the second. 6-0 Knights. Carter Hess to the plate. Katayama Stahl fouls it back to run the count full. The upshot of my call was to see if there might be any information in the archives or anywhere that Vanessa, an inveterate researcher of the game of baseball, and particularly in her adopted town of Bend, about an old coach of mine. The 3-2 pitch is ball 4 to Katayama Stahl, the 7th walk issued by Bend pitching. It comes with 1 out. Trey Swigert, who drew a bases-loaded walk for an RBI last inning. The big man strides to the plate with the Knights looking to add to their 6-0 lead. My coach was a deer man, a deer soul, named Jack Widner. Jack was my Little League coach for one summer, the summer of '71 in Southern California, when I shared with him that we would be moving to Oregon as soon as we sold our house, and it took us almost 2 years to do so. But when I shared with Coach Widner, Mr. Widner as we all call him, Trey takes high and away, ball 1, that we would be moving to Oregon, his eyes lit up. He said, Oregon? If you go to Oregon, you've got to go to a town called Bend and visit their ballpark. I'd never heard of Bend. The 1-0 pitch to Trey Swigert, a strike, and the count 1-1. But he went on and on. He said, it's the most beautiful ballpark I've ever pitched in. I pitched there in the 50s, and I've never forgotten it, so please go there for me. If you end up in Oregon, wherever you live, make sure you go to the ballpark in Bend. And he was referring to what became known as Vince Genna Stadium. The 1-1 pitch, Swigert swings and fouls it into the mid of Ryan Vandenbrink. 1-2 the count. Cole Katayama Stahl at first, 1 out, 6-0 Knights in the second. I called Vanessa Ivey, kind of shared all of that with her, and then went and called the ball game between the Elks and the Knights last night at Vince Genna. But that was all it took for her. She was spurred by that, and when I finished the game and got in my car to make the drive back through the pass, time is called and another pitch clock violation, this one on Carter Hess to run the count to Trey Swigert, 2-2. Taking too much time, did Carter, to get the pitch away, and Tom Purchase espied that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Swigert takes outside, ball 3. The email from Vanessa Ivey was just a thing of kindness. She did a deep dive and reported back Jack Widner's entire statistical numbers, which I never knew. There goes Katayama Stahl. The 3-2 pitch is strike 3 called. The throw to second is not in time. The pitch to Trey appeared to be low. Trey Swigert walks away muttering and shaking his head, but strike 3 called on Swigert on the 3-2 pitch. 2 down, and Ian Fernandez the batter. A stolen base for Katayama Stahl. And she found a specific game that my coach pitched in 1954 and reported all of this back to me in an email. And then she went further and said if Jack Woodner were still alive, he'd be 98 years of age. The pitch to Ian Fernandez swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. Then she added, but I looked him up, and there's an obituary for a Jack Dewey Woodner in Southern California, passing away in Los Angeles in 2011, 14 years ago. The strike one pitch, Fernandez a rope to center, but right at Eli Pupo, who makes the catch to retire the side. The Knights scored 6 last inning, a goose egg on the board here in the second. She did all of that, and I'm almost certain that she found my old coach in his records as a pitcher, his time in Bend that made such an impression on him, and I think found his obituary too. And today I've listened several times to Mike and the Mechanics and the Living Years, and I've almost teared up thinking about how I wish I would have gone on that kind of search earlier and been able to find a Vanessa Ivy and share the fruits of that kind of search with my old coach, who I only played for one summer, but have never forgotten him, Jack Woodner. Thank you, Vanessa Ivy, for all of that, going out of your way, beautiful, kind, and touching research you did. Thank you so much. And I hope those of you watching and listening tonight in Bend have an appreciation for Vanessa Ivy and the Deschutes County Historical Society and Museum. 6-0. We go to the third, back in 60 seconds, back in 1 minute on the Knights live stream.
Health insurance doesn't have to break the bank. 80% of Oregonians received financial assistance through OregonHealthcare.gov last year, and you might qualify too. At OregonHealthcare.gov, you can explore quality health plans from trusted insurers and find one that fits your budget and your needs. Our plans are built with you in mind, so you can compare prices and benefits, no sales tactics included. We're here to get you covered, Oregon.
Holman Field, the Corvallis Knights leading the Bend Elks by a score of 6-0. The first pitch from Zach Johnson to Jack Lafitte, strike one, called by Kirk Ordway. The strike one pitch missing a bit high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jack Lafitte. Zach Carlson on deck with Eli Pupo to follow. The 1-1 pitch in there for strike 2. Ordway, Ordway. Kirk Ordway. I can't think of it all at the moment, but isn't there an Ordway in the Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery journeys that they run into somewhere? The pitch on the way, swung on and missed, or was part of it. Seeing the name Ordway, Lewis and Clark came to mind for some reason. But he is the home plate umpire, Kirk Ordway, perhaps a descendant. Jack Lafitte swings and misses, and Zach Johnson has struck out 3 of the last 4 Bend Elks hitters. His first pitch now to Zach Carlson is in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. 6-0 Knights, top of the third inning. Trying to play their way into a hot Sunday. The strike one pitch swung on and missed. Good breaking ball from Zach Johnson. He's ahead of the count to Zach Carlson. No balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the top of the third inning. 6:06 tomorrow night should we get there. Fastball up, ball 1, 1-2. If the Knights win tonight and again tomorrow, then they would play Tuesday, most likely in Portland. Fastball, swung on and missed, strike 3, 2 down. Zach Johnson has struck out 4 of the last 5 Bend Elks hitters. Eli Pupo, the hitter. Pupo, the center fielder, will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. The first pitch to Eli hit foul off to the left and out of play. No balls and 1 strike.
Play for the Elks. Number 7, Eli Pupo.
The strike 1 pitch rolled slowly foul in front of the Bend Elks dugout on the first base side. Eli, a local kid of sorts, indeed, out of Redmond High School, and getting ready to take his talents to Eugene and Bushnell. The strike 2 pitch missing down and away. 1-2 to Eli Pupo with Zach Johnson a strike away from fanning the side. 6-0 Knights in the third. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball just missed. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down and nobody on. Zach just missed. And now he comes back to Pupo. The 2-2 fastball sprayed foul Waldo way. When I talk about Vince Gannon, what a magnificent ballpark it is, and it is. Became the home of baseball in Bend after O'Donnell Field had served the community for many years. Vince Gannon opened in 1946. Wasn't called Vince Gannon then, Municipal Stadium. The pitch missing low and in, ball 3, 3-2 to Pupo. 1946 it's got a little old, but here at Goss, we're talking about 1907. 3-2 breaking ball taken, strike 3 call. And indeed, Zach Johnson strikes out the side and is on a roll. Struck out 5 of the last 6. 6 strikeouts through 3, and the side here in the third. Ian Fernandez went to throw the ball around the infield, or at least throw the ball down to his first baseman. Trey Swigert was already exiting the field, and the ball nearly hit the umpire, Tom Purchase, who had to jump out of the way of it. We go to the bottom of the third. The Knights 6 and Bend nothing back in 90 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio. The Knights have just 1 hit tonight, but they lead it 6-0 here in the bottom of the third. Antonio Castro has the hit, a 2-run double in the first. He takes high. The 1-0 pitch from Carter Hess. Kirk Ordway contemplating perhaps the Corps of Discovery, thinking about that, thinking about heritage, family, ancestors, and then decides to call the pitch a strike. Took him a while, but he got there. 1-1 to Castro. Carter Hess to the plate. Castro goes after a high fastball, hits a 2-hopper to Makoa Sniffen, who throws him out. Carter's doing a good job. Coming in as the hope was when Jeff Brown and Alan Cox brought him in out of the pen when Lucas Hines simply could not find home plate. Hess has come in and settled things down to a large extent. And in fact, he is not allowed a hit. He did issue a walk in the first inning and 1 in the second, but he has an out here in the third. He misses with a breaking ball to Brooks Avery. ball one, 1-0. But that's all in the kind of long relief outing the utility two-way player was asked. Just help bridge some innings, chew up some innings, give us a chance. Shut things down enough for us to get our offense going and fight our way back in the game and try to win this playoff series. And Hess has done a good job in that respect. He misses low, ball two, 2-0. Avery swings and dunks one into left center field, base hit. Eli Pupo comes out of the bright sunlight into the shadows of the overhang of the Omaha room and plays the baseball back into the infield. A one-out single for Brooks Avery. The Knights with 2 hits. And that'll bring Blake Wilson to the plate. Blake walked and scored in the first. He wasn't the only one. 6 walks issued in that first inning, 5 of them by the starter Lucas Hines and 3 with the bases loaded. There goes Avery. Got a huge jump, and he's safely in with yet another stolen base. Davey Lopes, Max Carey, Ty Cobb, and others. Avery with the steal. And Brooks just read Carter perfectly and had the bag stolen as soon as he set sail for second. I mean, there was not going to, Vandenbrink made a throw, but it was in a very real sense a superfluous action. 1 ball and no strikes to Blake Wilson, looking for a run batted in. The Knights leading 6-0. Blake takes a strike. The count 1-1. Vandenbrink back out for another conversation with Carter Hess. Bend and Corvallis meeting in the playoffs for the 7th time. The Knights now 3-4 in openers at Vince Skinner after last night's loss. The Knights won the series in 08, won the series in 09. Bend won it in 10. The Knights won the series in 2011. And then again in 2014, Bend won the series in 2015 and went on to win its only West Coast League championship. The Knights, after that 2015 loss to Bend, won the next 7 championships. A bunt up along third. Jack Lafitte bare hands. The throw to first is not in time. A drag bunt single up along third by Blake Wilson. Into third base goes Brooks Avery. Nicely done by Blake, who does so many things well. First and third. 1 out for Brock Kettleson, with the Knights leading 6-0. 2 speedsters on the base paths. Ryan Vandenbrink comes out in front of the plate for coverage signals and what Ben wants to do. In the likelihood of Blake Wilson running, Brooks Avery at third, Blake Wilson at first, Brock Kettleson the batter. The infield a double play depth for the Elks. Carter Hess from the stretch. There goes Wilson. The pitch is very high, and Vandenbrink doesn't throw the ball anywhere. He looked at second, he looked at third, and held on, and Blake Wilson into second base with a steal. So the double play no longer in order. Coach Cox instructs the infield to play back at normal depth. Kettleson with a great opportunity for an RBI here. 6-0 Knights, bottom of the third. The pitch on the way. Kettleson will get an RBI. A ground ball to second. A big hop from Makoa Sniffen, who throws Brock out. But on the play, Brooks Avery down the line to score. And the Knights lead it 7-0. Kettleson getting the job done. And on the play, Blake Wilson into third. Thomas Ferraggiaro, the batter. Our junior announcer tonight is Kai Mayfield. He has done an excellent job through the summers. Starting at a very young age, he's been coming to this ballpark a lot like Corey Jean Galvin, KJ. We talked about Jim's granddaughter a couple of nights ago when I learned the sad news about my ballpark friend Jim passing away in January. Corey Jean grew up here. She's been coming to the games here since she was 2 years old, and at 20 now. Ferraggiaro takes a strike, the count 0-1. Kai Mayfield started at a very young age too, and we hear a young man who's evinced an interest in getting into sportscasting, and he is doing the junior announcing tonight here and sounding very good, like he's got a path in that field, so should he so choose. 7-0 Knights, bottom of the third. Blake Wilson at third, 2 down. Thomas Ferragero pulls a soft liner back at first, caught by Easton Amundsen. The big first baseman goes up to grab it, and the Knights settle for a singleton here in the third. But they get 2 hits along the way. They leave a runner at third. We are through 3, the Knights 7, and Bend nothing. Back in 90 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio.
We want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
At Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Knights 7 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. The Bend Elks, no runs, no hits, and 2 errors. Zach Johnson goes to work on Benji Solano, misses high and away. The 1-0 pitch, Benji swings, and it's a ground ball to Thomas Ferragero. The Knights second baseman on it and throws to first, 1 away. Zach Johnson has faced the minimum through 3 1/3. He struck out the side last inning, has 6 strikeouts through 3. McCoa sniffing the batter. McCoa drew the one pre-pass that Zach has yielded. The Elks without a hit to this point. The pitch on the way to McCoa. Swung on and lifted foul towards the Omaha room on the roof and beyond, and bouncing down into Urchin Alley. One hopeful Urchin just exited the stands. He's got a long run to go from the upper grandstand to my right to try to get to the alley and get himself a souvenir, but he's on the quest. The strike one pitch missing up and in to McCoa. 1 ball and 1 strike. 7-0 Knights, top of the 4th. The 1-1 fastball swung on and missed, and the bat slips out of the hands of McCoa sniffing. 1-2 the count. Jerry Hubbard, Jerry Reed, eastbound and down. When you're hot, you're hot. That Jerry Reed. I heard Doug Gottlieb using Eastbound and Down as a get-back song on his national show on Fox Sports Radio the other day, and he spoke of Jerry Reed, and it was good to hear. Jerry Reed wrote a song called Pave Your Way Into Tomorrow. The 1-2 fastball foul back. Well, the Knights are trying. I've always thought of that song when I say the Knights are trying to, or the Beavers or whomever, when facing elimination games, whichever team over the years, and it comes up here and there, trying to play their way into tomorrow, and so far so good. A high pop-up to shallow left. Brooks Avery takes charge behind shortstop Blake Wilson and makes the catch. 2 down, and Andrew Graham, the batter. Andrew popped to short in the first. Established back in 2008, Block 15 Brewing in Corvallis aims to elevate excellence in the craft beer experience, measured by their endless passion and their drive for accessible brilliance. This summer, we hope you've enjoyed Block 15 beers in the Block 15 Beer Garden here at the ballpark. First pitch fastball strike to Andrew Graham. And be sure to visit Block 15 after the game at their downtown pub or their Southtown tap room. Block 15. Johnson strike one breaking ball foul back, and Zach a strike away from retiring the side in order for the third consecutive inning. He walked Makoa Sniffen with one out in the first, but several pitches later picked him off. Johnson delivers, fastball just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Ian Fernandez cagily trying to frame that one up. It did appear to miss, but not by much. Zach Reddy, the right-hander, comes back to the plate. Breaking ball in the turf. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Zach, in a game the Knights have to win to keep their season alive. On his way to Linfield, a young man out of Lake Ridge High School, 2 seasons with the Portland Pilots, delivers and misses. And the count goes full to 3-2. He was 0-2. Easton Amundsen on deck. 7-0 Knights in the 4th. The 3-2 pitch, fastball lifted to right and playable. Antonio Castro backs up a couple of steps, makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Zach Johnson, who has faced the minimum through 4. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning on this warm, pleasant night in the Mid-Valley, and a pleasant experience thus far for the home team. The Knights 7, Bend nothing. Back in 90 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio.
We want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Doesn't have to break the bank. 80% of Oregonians received financial assistance through OregonHealthcare.gov last year, and you might qualify too. At OregonHealthcare.gov, you can explore quality health plans from trusted insurers and find one that fits your budget and your needs. Our plans are built with you in mind, so you can compare prices and benefits, no sales tactics included. We're here to get you covered, Oregon.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Alex Hierro just came by, as he does throughout the ball games. A young man here with his dad and both grandmothers, he said, are here. And Steve and Tina Kimball have just sent him away with cookies, chocolate chip cookies, to take to Pa and both grandmas as we go to the bottom of the 4th. 7-0 Knights. Great to see so many young people at these ball games. That was true last night at Vince Skenna. Just a lot of youngsters and a big crowd getting autographs on the field after the game. Quite a scene. Maverick takes high and away from Carter Hess. The 1-0 pitch missing away, ball 2, 2-0 to Maverick Russell. Maverick has fouled out and flied to right. Maverick Russell, Cole Katayama Stahl, and Trey Swigert, 3 left-handed hitters in the inning against the right-hander Carter Hess. The 2-0 pitch missing for ball 3, 3-0. Carter from the stretch with nobody on. The 3-0 pitch high and away. Ball 4. The 9th walk issued by Ben pitching tonight. And that goes a very long way in explaining the scoreboard. The Knights 7 runs on just 3 hits, but 9 walks, a couple of errors mixed in as well for Ben. And the Knights with the leadoff free pass to Russell. Cole Katayama Stahl's been up twice. He's walked twice. One of the walks came with the bases loaded. He swings and misses the first pitch. 0-1 the count. One other note on Vanessa Ivy. She told me yesterday I just didn't have time to go. The strike 1 pitch in the turf the count 1-1. That exhibit has a semi-permanent home now. The Bend History of Baseball in Bend exhibit, which debuted, I think, about 11 years ago, is still housed now in the Deschutes Historical Museum. So you can check it out on the second floor. A lot of interesting material about the history of the game in the great city of Bend. Katayama Stahl hits one foul to the left and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Maverick Russell, a leadoff walk. Cole Katayama Stahl with a count of 1-2. Cole takes inside from Carter Hess. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If the exhibit stays up long enough, I'll try to get in there and see it. It just sounds like it would be up my alley, looking at the likes of Johnny Pesky and maybe even seeing an old team photograph and finding one Jack Widner. The 2-2 breaking ball inside, ball 3, 3-2. During the float of the river today, I was talking with a friend about if you end up with one teacher in your collegiate experience, one that you remember and still draw upon. There goes Russell, the 3-2 pitch, chopped foul. Spencer Scott, first-year coach for the Knights, makes the play on the carom. 3-2 the count. I had plenty of teachers down the road that I really liked, professors that I enjoyed, but there was one true inspiration, Dominic A. LaRusso, a cousin of the former NBA player Rudy LaRusso of the LA Lakers. But Dominic LaRusso, an interesting man, brilliant man, inspired orator. Walk around giving lectures in 238 Gilbert Hall, I believe it was, just like a character in a movie, walking around quoting Socrates and Quintilian and I Socrates. The 3-2 pitch hit sharply into right field, base hit. Maverick Russell will stop at second. Zach Carlson gets the ball back in. 2 on, nobody out. Katayama Stahl getting the Knights' 4th hit of the night, and Trey Swigert, the hitter. Trey has walked with the bases loaded and struck out. We would look out the window before class and see Professor LaRusso sitting on a bench down below. We were on the second floor, sitting on a bench out kind of in a garden area, stroking his chin, contemplating what he was going to impart to us in lecture form. I loved it. I mean, it was very interesting to me. Trey Swigert, the batter, up there to bunt, pushes the bunt foul, 0-1 the count. But we were talking about pedagogy, talking about teaching, and if you can end up with 1 or 2 in your life that touch you, you're blessed. You should be grateful. LaRusso did. I'm grateful to have experienced him. I took everything he had to offer. But to have a coach here and there over the years that touched your life and that you remember fondly and even profoundly to some extent, and the impact, Jack Widner is one of those. The strike 1 pitch, Trey again shows bunt and takes high, and the count 1-1. So that I wish, as I said, that I would have met a Vanessa Ivey earlier to be able to follow through. Low, however many years later, gone to L.A. on one of the trips, taken a side trip to go visit Coach Widner and say, hey, that Bend thing you were talking about to us back in '71, Coach, you were right. It is gorgeous. Thank you again, Vanessa, for your labors. The pitch to Swigert, a fly ball to shallow right field. Zach Carlson moving in to make the catch. 1 away. That's why Brooke had the bunt on. Coach Knight hoping that Swigert could move the runners. He does get the ball airborne and to right, but not deep enough to advance Maverick Russell. Now Ian Fernandez, the hitter. Ian walked with the bases loaded and lined to center field in the second. 7-0 Knights in the bottom of the 4th inning. Carter Hess peering in to Ryan Vandenbrink. Carter delivers, first pitch breaking ball strike. And again, Carter's done a nice job here. He's given Bend a chance. Eating innings, getting outs, keeping the Knights from running away with the thing. 6 runs in the first, almost the definition of that, but only 1 run since. Trying to put a 0 up here in the bottom of the 4th. 7-0 Knights in this elimination game for Corvallis. The strike 1 pitch to Fernandez, swung on and missed. 0-2 the count. Easton Amundsen at first, Makoa Sniffen at second, Benji Solano at short, Jack Lafitte at third, Teddy Tokheim in left, Eli Pupo in center, Zach Carlson in right. No balls and 2 strikes to Ian Fernandez. The 0-2 breaking ball down and away. 1-2 to Ian. If there is a tomorrow, and I suspect there will be, but if there's a baseball game tomorrow between the Knights and Elks, it'll be at 6:06, an hour later than usual. The 1-2 off-speed pitch banged off the glove of the shortstop Benji Solano in the hole at short. No play. Everybody's saved. The bases are loaded on the infield single off the end of the bat by Ian Fernandez. A good job by Solano. He was a little frustrated that he didn't make a clean play on the ball, but by getting his glove on it and slowing it down, he prevents Maverick Russell from scoring. Good effort on Benji's part. Antonio Castro, the hitter. A 2-run double for the Knights' only hit in a 6-run first. At the plate with the bases loaded and 2 down, looking to unload again, do some big damage, and try to nearly put this thing out of reach. He takes a strike and the count 0-1. Maverick Russell at third base. Cole Katayama Stahl at second. Ian Fernandez at first with 2 down. 7-0 Knights in the fourth. Trying to add on and secure the grip on this game and give themselves a look at tomorrow in a decisive game 3. Antonio takes high. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Only 1 out in the inning, pardon me, not 2. So still an opportunity for Castro to get a run home with an out. The infield a double play depth for the Elks. 1 ball and 1 strike to Castro. Brooks Avery on deck. Carter Hess to the plate. Castro goes after a breaking ball down and in, swings and misses, in the count 1-2. Brooks Avery waiting his turn. Carter Hess again in a position to try to keep his team in the ball game. Delivers to Antonio, who pops it up to shallow center field. Eli Pupo coming in. Maverick Russell will stay at third. Pupo throws the ball back into Amundsen. 2 down, and a good job by Carter Hess thus far. With the Knights looking for productive outs, he has induced a couple of little pop-ups. One off the bat of Trey Swigert to right. Here, off of Antonio Castro to center. 2 down, the bases loaded for Brooks Avery, who was aboard on an error in the first inning. Got an RBI for his troubles. Single to center and scored last inning. Bottom of the fourth. 7-0 Knights with the bases loaded and 2 down. Carter Hess to the plate. First pitch misses a bit high and inside. Ball 1, 1-0. Brooks turns and inquires something of the home plate umpire Kirk Ordway. 1 ball and no strikes to Brooks Avery. Carter Hess out of the stretch and to the plate. Inside for ball 2. 2-0. Pretty big pitch right here for Carter. He has done a very good job, as I've mentioned, keeping his team in the ball game, at least on the fringe of it. But if he issues a bases loaded walk, that changes the narrative considerably. So a big pitch here. He doesn't want to go 3-0. 9 walks have been issued already tonight by Ben pitching. The 2-0 pitch. Avery, full swing, and rolls it foul past Coach Knight. 2-1 the count. One of the better playoff crowds I've seen through the years, and it's another indication of how the Knights have become such a fixture in the summer marketplace, if you will. The 2-1 pitch, breaking ball up and in to Brooks Avery, ball 3, 3-1, and we witnessed that last night across the mountain over at Vince Guenna in Bend in the high desert. A very good crowd for a game that you have a day to advertise, essentially. 3 balls and a strike, 2 down. 7-0 Knights. Brooks Avery can shrink the zone here, look for something in a sweet spot to drive. And ball 4. Carter Hess is charged with a pitch clock violation. The third one against the Bend Elks staff tonight. Ball 4 to Brooks Avery, who gets the run batted in a bit of a dubious way, but the Knights again will take it. Down the line comes Maverick Russell to score. The pitch clock violation forcing in a run. 8-0 Knights. Blake Wilson the batter. Blake walked and scored in the first of 6 runs for the Knights in the opening frame. He has since struck out and had a bunt single. He takes just inside from Carter. Ball 1, 1-0. Cole Katayama stall at third. Ian Fernandez at second. Brooks Avery at first. 2 down. 8-0 Corvallis in the bottom of the 4th. The 1-0 pitch is inside. Ball 2, 2-0. In a situation such as this, Alan Cox and his pitching coach Jeff Brown probably would not want to throw, pardon the phrase, but good money after bad. The 2-0 pitch swung on and fouled at the plate, meaning that they'll try to save arms for what is likely to be the task tomorrow to win the series. Would not want to expend one of their better arms in this kind of situation. Down 8 runs in the 4th. Carter Hess again charged to just do what he can to get as many outs and innings to save pitching for tomorrow. Blake Wilson, a high pop foul back of the plate. This is bound for the rooftop of the McGrath family press box and then bounces for the first time tonight into our forbidden zone, the construction zone. There's a lot of stuff going on around Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, and there's a big fence up, and many a baseball has been lost to the construction zone this summer. The youngsters can't get to it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with the sacks full. 8-0 Knights in the 4th. Carter to the plate. Blake a fly ball to right field and playable. So a good job by Carter Hess as Carlson makes the catch to end the inning. The Knights do get a run, but they didn't again bust it absolutely wide open. And Carter is doing what has been asked of him, and well. But the Knights do have a pretty good lead as we go to the 5th. It looks like we may see a change of pitchers here for the Knights. And we will. Zach Johnson was brilliant. Zach faced the minimum through 4. We got a new arm coming in. We'll take a 2-minute pitching change break. The Knights 8, Bend nothing, back in 2 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio.
Is Brynn Kirkland. I'm the editor-in-chief, and it is my great pleasure to introduce you all to volume 145, Roots. We've been continuously amazed at how OSU student artists have embraced our theme. We've been trending toward home, heritage, community, connection, and nature.
All right, we're starting 1 minute. We're going to start from black to cam 5. 2, let's get actually guitar and vocalist left side.
There's a new pitcher on the mound for your Knights. The freshman committed to Oregon State, number 19, Tyler Bellerose. Now batting, 36, Easton Amundsen.
Bellarose, the new pitcher for the Corvallis Knights, with a call to the bullpen presented by Wilson Motors. And a very unorthodox defensive alignment for the Corvallis Knights. What with 4 outfielders and nobody at home on the left side of the diamond. The first pitch from Bellarose to Easton Amundsen, high and away. The 1-0 pitch is fouled in front of the Elks dugout. 8-0 Knights in the top of the 5th. Fully 4 outfielders with the 1-1 pitch coming, fouled at the plate, in the count 1-2. Cole Katayama Stahl leaves third base and goes out to left center field. Brock Kettleson looking pretty casual out in right center, with Ian Fernandez taking that one off the somewhere around the neck area. The Knights athletic trainer comes out to see how Ian is faring. I think Ian's going to be all right, and in fact, he's going to be fine. Smiles all around, with Fernandez hoping he's going to get a cup of water proffered him. But that gives us a chance, as Ian kind of recovers, to carry on, to take a look at the Knights' alignment of Brooks Avery and straightaway left. Fernandez pronounces himself okay to carry on. And Will settling back into the crouch. Brooks Avery in a catcher's crouch out in left. Cole Katayama Stahl in left center. Brock Kettleson in right center. Antonio Castro in straightaway right. Knight shortstop Blake Wilson directly behind the bag. Ferrajaro in deep right. And Amundsen renders the entire alignment moot. Goodbye. Hammers it over the right field fence. Needed a 5th outfielder stationed out near the railroad tracks. Amundsen crushes it, and Bend is on the board. A rude greeting for Tyler Bellarose, giving up the long home run to Amundsen, who blasted 34 during the spring. And Bend is on the board at 8-1 on the solo shot by Amundsen to lead off the 5th. Ryan Vandenbrink, the batter. The Knights return to a conventional deployment defensively. Cole Katayama Stahl comes back into the infield, and the Knights are essentially straight away. Tyler Bellarose giving up the long home run. 8-1 Corvallis. Vandenbrink, Tyler's teammate to be with the Beavers, hits one foul to the right and out of play. No balls and a strike. If you live or work in one of 24 Western or Central Oregon counties, you're entitled to membership privileges and the full financial services at Oregon State. The Oregon State Credit Union can be joined online at OregonStateCU.com or at one of their 15 branches. Vandenbrink fouls one into the forbidden zone. 0-2 to Ryan. 8-1 Knights in the 5th. The strike 2 pitch, punched foul, headed towards Urchin Alley. The count remains 0-2. You can join online, OregonStateCU.com, or pop into one of their 15 branches. Oregon State Credit Union, the proud title sponsor of the Knights' big fireworks extravaganza every year, and this year included. Fastball taken by Vandenbrink. Strike 3 called, 1 away. Good recovery by Bellarose. Gives up a homer, comes back to strike out Vandenbrink. Our thanks every summer, all these years, to Oregon State Credit Union, investing in all of our communities and dedicated to creating financial solutions toward making local lives better. Teddy Tokheim flied to right in the 2nd. Takes the first pitch a little bit high and away. Ball 1, 1-0. Brooke Knight asking, essentially, where it missed. Kirk Ordway just kind of gives him an indication with the hand. The 1-0 pitch popped up to right field and playable for Antonio Castro. Antonio tracks it and catches it for out number 2. And that's the best response. And Tyler Bellarose has a little bit of the, it's not necessarily, he's not quite as stone-faced, stoical. The great Buster Keaton. The 100th anniversary, by the way, of the General, filmed in Cottage Grove, will take place next year. And the following year, I think there's going to be a 50th anniversary of the filming of Animal House in Cottage Grove, the final climactic scene. Lafitte takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 8-1 Knights in the fifth. The 0-1 offering misses down and away. But that is quite a quality that Buster had, the great stone face. And Bellerose is somewhat unflappable in that way. He will show a little bit more emotion on his countenance, great smile and engaging. But he doesn't let anything that happens, the vicissitudes of life, get him down. And this vicissitude here in the inning, a home run from Amundsen. The next pitch fouled into the alley again to the right. Tyler back with a breaking ball and misses up. Ball 2, 2-2 to Jack Lafitte. 2 down, nobody on. 83 degrees still at 8:11 with 43% humidity, blessed with a low AQI of 14. The 2-2 pitch, chop foul past Johnny Kemp. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. And as Bruce Coburn, the great Canadian bard, says, 5:51, Don was breaking in the air. You don't take these things for granted when you think of what's in need of repair. And so when I think about a summer this time in August 9th, and an AQI that's that low, we take nothing for granted. A fly ball to right. Antonio Castro moves over and catches that one too. And after the home run, the long clout from Easton Amundsen, Tyler Bellerose shrugs it off and comes back to get the next 3 batters. Last night, 18 in Bend for the AQI, 14 here. And sometimes that's more than just a small source of comfort, but a great source of comfort. It's great to be here tonight, a beautiful night for baseball. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's the Knights 8 and Bend 1 back in 90 on the Knights live stream and KBVR-TV and Joe Radio.
Doesn't have to break the bank. 80% of Oregonians received financial assistance through OregonHealthcare.gov last year, and you might qualify too. At OregonHealthcare.gov, you can explore quality health plans from trusted insurers and find one that fits your budget and your needs. Our plans are built with you in mind, so you can compare prices and benefits, no sales tactics included. We're here to get you covered, Oregon.
Bottom of the 5th inning, Brock Kettleson, a drive to the alley in right center field. It split Zach Carlson and Eli Pupo all the way to the base of the fence in the alley in right center. And Brock Kettleson doing his thing again, rounding second and into third base. One of the more exciting plays in the game of baseball, the triple. I know that all humans dig the long ball. Not gender specific. We all love the long ball, right? We love home runs and game-winning home runs and walk-off home runs. Yes, yes, we do, we do. Cal Raleigh's homer last night, an incredible thing of beauty. But triples, they're good things. And Brock Kettleson drives a triple to open the bottom of the 5th for the Knights, who lead it 8-1. And that brings to the plate Thomas Ferragero, who takes high and away ball 1, 1-0. A leadoff triple, so the Knights in good shape to get that run back that Easton Amundsen just provided with his home run. the fourth triple of the summer. Blake Wilson with 3, Brock now with 4, and he's at third with nobody out. Thomas Ferraggiaro awaits the 1-1 pitch. A broken bat, soft liner caught by second baseman Makoa Sniffen. Carter Hess still in there pitching, and after the triple, he comes back to get an out. 1 away. Ferraggiaro, the Knights' RBI leader in an RBI situation to be sure. Runner at third, nobody out. Lines out and breaks his bat in the process. That'll bring Maverick Russell to the plate. Maverick has fouled out, flied to right, and walked and scored. And Carter Hess was ready to go to work on Russell. Maverick had yet to make eye contact with the pitcher, and the home plate umpire, Kirk Ordway, says make sure that the batter has looked up at you and made eye contact with you before you pitch. Russell takes a strike on the first pitch from Carter Hess. Brock Kettleson at third, 1 out, 8-1 Knights, bottom of the 5th. The 0-1 pitch just outside, 1-1 to Maverick Russell. The Knights with 8 runs and 6 hits. Bend pitchers have issued 10 walks. Zach Johnson was brilliant, faced the minimum through 4. His evening is over. He's visiting with a family member in the stands behind the Knights dugout. The pitch to Maverick Russell hit off the facade of the McGrath family press box and back down to the hands of a waiting fan. Gets a nice round of applause for her good catch. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Maverick Russell. The Elks down 8-1, playing their infield back. The 1-2 pitch, a looping fly ball into right center field. Base hit. Maverick Russell picks up the run batted in. Kettleson down the line to score, and the Knights lead it 9-1. Cole Katayama Stahl will be the hitter. Cole drew a walk with the bases loaded in the first. He walked in the second. Single to right field last inning. 9-1 Knights here in the bottom of the 5th. Carter to the plate. Fastball misses high and away. Ball 1, 1-0. A left-hander is throwing back of Carter Hess. The 1-0 change in there for a strike, and the count 1-1 to Katayama Stahl. Brooks Avery's dad just came and inquired of me, where's a good place to cool off in the river tomorrow? The 1-1 pitch hits slowly to the shortstop, Benji Solano. He goes to second for 1, on to first, not in time. Cole Katayama Stahl aboard on the fielder's choice, 6-4, 2 down. Trey Swigert, the batter. That's an interesting question in that I'm in the river as much as I can. It's been limited this summer. And there's some restrictions early on with the hip recovery and all of that, but cleared to get back in, and I've been enjoying it here of late and hope to tomorrow before the ball game, which appears likely tomorrow night at 6:06. If the Knights win this game, they're up 9-1. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6:06 to settle the series. Trey Swigert takes high, ball 1, 1-0. But Brooks's papa asking for just a place to jump in and cool off, which is a little different than how we use the river. We float it and get off at various points. But if you're just looking for one hole to spend time in, Swigert checks his swing on a 1-0 pitch. No swing, says Lance Kreck. 2-0 the count. I have a little more difficulty just giving a simple answer to that. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. 9-1 Knights. The 2-0 pitch to Trey in there for a strike. 2-1. If he doesn't mind being around a lot of people, the hole not far from here in Avery Park, Mary's River, is a pretty good one. Easy to get to. Swigert, a high drive to right center and deep but playable. Zach Carlson moves back and under to make the catch. The inning is over. And he said, well, that one's an easy one for me to remember. I'll remember it as Brooks Avery Park. The swimming hole behind the Corvallis Parks and Rec, and there's some nice little holes back in there. So That's what I gave him. I hope that was good enough. Those are good holes. A leadoff triple for Brock Kettleson. The Knights cash it in on the base hit from Maverick Russell. We go to the 6th. The Knights 9 and Bend 1 back in 90 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
The 6th inning, 9-1 Knights. What we usually have rolling through here about this time, as you know, if you followed the Knights at all, if you've been to the ballpark a lot through the years, we have that cooling breeze. Not tonight. And I think it's an indication of what we're heading to, triple digits the next couple of days. Well, no cool breeze, really. It's 83 degrees still as we close in on 8:30. Tyler Bellerose with a 9-1 lead goes to work on Zach Carlson. The first pitch to Zach misses for ball 1. Carlson swings and hits one foul to the left. Waldo away and out of play. Bellerose back, misses high and inside. Zach Carlson out of South Jordan, Utah. In this past spring at Northwestern, hit .276, getting ready for another year in the Big Ten. The 2-1 pitch, Bellerose misses for ball 3. 3-1 to Carlson. Zach struck out against Zach Johnson in the 3rd. 9-1 Knights in the 6th. The 3-1 pitch, foul back, and the count 3-2. Zach Carlson, Eli Pupo, and Benji Solano for Bend in the 6th inning. The 3-2 pitch, that is hit Waldo way, in fact, towards Waldo Hall itself. Great old building, built the same year this ballpark was established in 1907. The 3-2 pitch, a fly ball to left field. Brooks Avery moving in and makes the catch. One away. Nice job by Bellerose, falling behind 3-1, and he told me that the biggest thing he's working on as he gets ready to come into the Oregon State program this fall. And it's so nice to see Bellerose with a commitment to his summer league teammates. A young man out of Huntington Beach participating in the Bridge program, as is required for all incoming freshman student athletes. But he asked Mitch Canham, he wanted to keep competing as long as he could and is available to for the Knights in this postseason. He delivers a strike to Eli Pupo. The 0-1 pitch hit Waldo away, out of play. 0-2 the count. So here he is on a warm Saturday night with a lot of things on his plate, continuing his summer with the Knights. The strike 2 pitch, tap foul in front of the Knights dugout. The count remains 0-2. Bellerose said that the biggest thing is, I got to fill up the zone. I don't have the overpowering velo and the filthy stuff, but if I change speeds and can be a strike thrower, I can be a good pitcher. He does change speeds here. The strike 2 pitch in the turf. Ian Fernandez steps in front of the plate and throws to first baseman Trey Swigert for the strikeout. 2-3, 2 down. Benji Solano will come to the plate. Benji has struck out and grounded to second. Since Easton Amundsen walloped a homer to greet Bellerose into this game last inning, Tyler has retired 5 straight. His first pitch to Solano misses for ball 1, 1-0. Really good year at Cal State San Bernardino for Solano. He hits a ground ball to his opposite number. The shortstop, Blake Wilson, fields from behind second and throws to Trey Swigert, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Bellerose. Solano hit .329, scored 29 runs, and drove in 27 at Cal State University San Bernardino this past spring, and began his collegiate career a long way from San Bernardino over in Coos Bay at SWAC. He grounds out here. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The new pitcher coming in for Bend. The Knights lead at 9-1. We'll take a 2-minute pitching change break on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream. 9-1 Knights back in 2 on Joe Radio.
Just to remind you, you are listening to Terrarium Time with me, DJ Chameleon, only on KBVR Corvallis.
The 6th inning at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. The Corvallis Knights leading the Bend Elks by a score of 9-1. Aiden Bray is the new pitcher, taking over for Carter Hess, who under the circumstances did very well for himself. The game did not get further out of hand. The Knights did kind of, singleton in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, but after the 6th spot in the 1st, Carter has settled down enough, settled things down enough to keep Bend in the game from a distance, with apologies to Bette Midler. Ian Fernandez takes a strike from Aiden Bray. 0-1 the count. Aiden back to the plate and misses inside the Clue FM song of the game. Now we've got the first base umpire, Tom Purchase, walking over towards Aiden Bray. I'm not sure what. The count goes to 1-1. Purchase saw something in the delivery that he thought was a little untoward, or perhaps not within the rules, and he may be helping to correct that for Aiden Bray here in the 6th. The song between innings was something by Van Morrison. I don't know it, but almost anything by him is worth listening to. I've heard the song, but I couldn't name it. I'd need to Shazam it. The 1-1 pitch to Fernandez inside for ball 2, 2-1. Ian Fernandez, Antonio Castro, and Brooks Avery. There's a song on one of Van's, and Robert, if you're listening tonight, this is Robert Hirsch's Bailiwick. Robert, if you're able to help me with it, I'd like to remember correctly. The 2-1 pitch. Fernandez smashes it to left center and deep. Pupo going back, still going back. He can't get it. The ball is over his head and off the base of the fence in left center. And Fernandez is digging for 3, and Ian is in with a head-first slide with another leadoff triple. Kettleson last inning a leadoff 3-bagger, and now Ian Fernandez extends the arms and blasts that ball to deep left center. Beautiful swing from Ian Fernandez, getting his first triple of the summer of 2025. And Antonio Castro, who had a 2-run double in the night's 6-run first to the plate, has since grounded out and flied to center. 9-1 Knights in the 6th. From the album Avalon Sunset, a sweet album, by the way, there's a line in which Van talks about walking along and, quote, and the crack was good. And the crack was good. The pitch on the way to Antonio, outside, ball 1-0. I remember the first time I heard that song many, many years ago. I thought, surprised he would be praising the crack being so good. It just didn't seem like something to be celebrated. But apparently that's a colloquialism for chat or conversation. Unfortunately, I hear, the crack was good. I think of something else, but Van was thinking about pleasant conversation. The crack, we were walking and the crack was good. Okay, what song is that? I don't know. I don't have time to look it up. Robert, do you know? It's a sweet little tune, with my misgivings early on notwithstanding. The 2-0 pitch to Antonio Castro, foul back. The count 2-1. A leadoff triple last inning for Brock Kettleson. Brock came in to score on a base hit by Maverick Russell. Ian Fernandez, a leadoff triple to left center here in the 6th. Castro looking for his 3rd run batted in. 9-1 Knights in the 6th. Aiden Bray from the stretch comes to the plate. Castro takes high. And the count to Antonio. 3 balls and a strike. Amanda is bringing me a hot dog, which is very kind of her. Thanks, Amanda. Thank you, young Ben. The 3-1 pitch to Castro hit foul off to the left and out of play. Team play, the ball being handed through Knights fans. I've been to ballparks, as have you not, where the peanut vendor throws peanuts way down the aisle from one section to the next. I like that as a show in a ballpark. Might be a little riskier with hot dogs. 3-2 the count to Castro. Fernandez at 3rd, nobody out. A leadoff triple for Ian, 9-1 Knights. Bray delivers. Castro punches this one foul in the air off to the left, heading towards the Jack Riley concourse. And down the stairwell on that third base side entrance, halfway up the third baseline. The count remains 3-2 to Antonio. It just looks like, looking out of the ballpark tonight on this warm summer night, that the crack is good in the ballpark too. Castro slices one down the left field line, foul, giving chase. Teddy Tokheim not able to chase it down. The count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Brooks Avery on deck. My daughter told me recently of finding a swimming hole near Alsea Falls where you can swim through a fall. The water's cold and bracing but glorious. An entire book was written on swimming holes in the state of Oregon many years ago, which we have and have hit a few over the years. Fernandez down the line from 3rd. Castro swings and it's a ground ball to first, which will produce a run. Antonio's 3rd RBI. Fernandez down the line to score on the RBI ground out for Castro, and the Knights lead it 10-1. Brooks Avery will come to the plate. But I could tell from Brooks's dad's question, he doesn't want to, I don't think he doesn't want to work that hard to go to Alsea Falls in a swimming hole there, or, head up past Foster Lake and some of the great holes up that way beyond Sweet Home. There's some wonderful holes. I can't remember all the names of them, but they're glorious. think he wants to stay a little closer to home. So what does one tell somebody who asks that? I think Mary's River is fine. There's several nice spots on it. And if you want to get away from the madding crowd, you can find not the one big hole that everybody goes to, but there's others through the trails that you can find where you've got a little bit more privacy. Brooks Avery swings, and it's a fly ball to center field. It'll drop in front of Eli Pupo for a base hit. Brooks Avery, a one-out single. 10-1 Knights. It appears more and more that we're going to have a chance to gather again tomorrow night for a decisive Game 3. The Knights, tonight anyway, are making the home field advantage pay off. Yes, they went across the mountain and had it handed to them by the Bend Elks last night before a large and enthusiastic crowd at Vince Genna, but have come back home tonight in an elimination game and have done their part to keep their season alive. Brooks Avery goes. The pitch is high and the throw is not in time. Brooks Avery with the stolen base. He hasn't been caught in 33 attempts this summer. And that may be, if the Knights get another run home, Brook Knight is taking nothing for granted. He needs to win the game to play again into tomorrow, but the Knights may shut the run game down pretty soon. They lead it 10-1 in the 6th. Brooks is going to third. He'll get there without a throw. Brooks Avery has been running wild all summer and steals second and third, giving Blake Wilson an opportunity to pick up an RBI. 10-1 Knights in the 6th. Alan Cox keeps his infield at normal depth. The 1-1 pitch to Blake Wilson misses down and away. Ball 2-1. Aiden Bray from the stretch. Brooks Avery, a sprinting lead, puts the brakes on about a third of the way down the line, trying to distract Aiden. The 2-1 pitch from Bray misses for ball 3-1. Aiden's namesake spoke to reporters after the scrimmage today, and Trent Bray is thrilled about the progress his second team at Oregon State is making in fall camp. A fly ball to right field. This will be deep enough to score Brooks Avery. Zach Carlson the catch. Avery tags and sprints in. Scores standing up. A sac fly for Blake Wilson. The Knights lead it 11-1. Two down in the inning. The Knights plating both runs with outs. And that'll bring Brock Kettleson to the plate. Brock has been aboard on an error and scored. Walked, had an RBI groundout, and led off last inning with a triple and scored. He swings and misses. 0-1 the count. 11-1 Knights, bottom of the 6th. Van Froling, the likely starter for the Corvallis Knights in the winner-take-all game tomorrow, which I think most of us are planning on at this point. A high pop foul off third. Jack Lafitte comes over in front of Brook Knight and the third base coaching box to make the catch and end the inning. The Knights get two more. They've scored in every inning save the second. They set the tone with a 6-run first. We go to the 7th. The Knights 11, Bend 1. We'll be back in 90 on the Knights live stream, KBVR-TV and Joe Radio.
29, McCullough Sniffen.
Innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. The Corvallis Knights 11 runs, 9 hits and no errors. The Bend Elks a run, 1 hit, 2 errors. Tyler Bellerose goes to work in the 7th inning. In the first pitch, a check swing by McCullough Sniffen. Did he go? Well, first base umpire Tom Purchase said he did. 0-1 the count. McCullough has walked and popped to short. The only walk issued by Knights pitching was by Zach Johnson to McCullough in the first, whereas Bend pitchers have walked 10. Ian Fernandez needs a moment after that pitch. He adjusts his mask, and I'm not sure if something got into his eye, but he again puts the mask, yanks it back on, settles back in. 1 ball, 1 strike to McCullough. 11-1 Knights. In the top of the 7th, Tyler Bellerose still in there and misses high and away. Ball 2, 2-1. McCullough Sniffen, Andrew Graham, and Easton Amundsen. The 2-1 pitch hit sharply to third, speared by Katayama Stahl. Throws across to Trey Swigert, who maintains contact with the bag on a good stretch. 1 away. Andrew Graham will be the batter. When you visit Corvallis to catch Knights baseball or find a good swimming hole or whatever brings you to our town, we encourage you to stay at your locally owned Best Western Corvallis, the official hotel partner of your Knights, close to the ballpark with the largest hotel rooms in the city and an outdoor heated pool. Ground ball into left field, base hit off the bat of Andrew Graham. Just the second hit of the night for the Elks. The guy with the other one, big Easton Amundsen, strides to the plate. He hammered a home run in the 5th, greeting Tyler Bellerose into this ball game.
Number 36.
Best Western with the largest hotel rooms in town, the heated pool. Wherever life takes you, Best Western is there. A 1-out single for Andrew Graham. Amundsen, a high fly ball to center field. Kettleson was very deep. He moves in to make the catch. 2 down. We'll see a hitter for Ryan Vandenbrink here for Bend. We'll see.
Number 24, Noah Batanko.
Noah Batanko out of Cal State San Bernardino, and from San Diego is the pinch hitter here. He swings and taps 1 foul at the plate. No balls and 1 strike. 11-1 Knights in the 7th. Bellerose and Ian Fernandez, the Knights battery. Trey Swigert at first, Thomas Ferrajaro at second, Blake Wilson at short, Cole Katayama Stahl at third, Brooks Avery in left, Brock Kettleson in center, Antonio Castro in right. Bellerose delivers and the breaking ball misses. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. Tyler set, looks over at Andrew Graham. Chopper back of third, backhanded by Katayama Stahl. Off balance throw to first on a hop, in time for the out to retire the side. A tremendous play by Cole Katayama Stahl. Going to his right to backhand and quickly got something on the throw for out number 3, and the Elks are gone in the 7th. Tremendous play by Cole. No runs, a hit. The fans rising to their feet. Some were up already to cheer the play by Cole. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Playoff baseball presented by Pioneer Connect. The Corvallis Knights 11, Bend 1, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
The 7th inning, Aiden Bray getting ready to face Thomas Ferrajaro. Thomas will be followed by Maverick Russell, and then Cole Katayama Stahl, who just made the tremendous defensive play to end the top of the 7th inning. The left-hander Bray to the plate and delivers a first pitch strike. 0-1 the count. Thomas has walked and scored, flied to left, lined out, and lined out again to second base. Bray's strike one pitch misses high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ferrajaro. 11-1 Knights, bottom of the 7th inning. 6:06 tomorrow night. If the Knights can get the final 6 outs without major incident, we'll see you here tomorrow to settle this series. Bray to the plate. Ball hits one of the poles above the dugout. That doesn't happen often. You could hear the ping off the pole and back onto the field. I think that's the first time all summer I've seen and heard that sound. 1-2 the count to Thomas Ferrajaro. Aiden Bray works from the stretch. The left-hander to the plate. Pitch is swung on and rolled slowly foul up along third. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ben Crockett was showing me a photograph of Edmonton's ballpark tonight. The Riverhawks in playoff baseball. Sold out. It looks 8,000 to 10,000 strong. The 1-2 pitch, very high, ball 2, 2-2. Just a magnificent photograph, a still shot that he took off of a YouTube video, I think. But wow, what a big hit West Coast League baseball has been in the great city of Edmonton. You know, AAA ballpark, the city skyline in the background, magnificent shot. The 2-2 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 3, 1 away. The breezes have finally come our way. It's the first time tonight. They're a little late, but they are familiar, and they're blowing out towards left center field and pretty strong. Of a sudden, we were still all evening long, and I need Jim's paperweights that he was kind enough to bring because things are starting to blow around. The warm wind blowing the stars around. I think there's going to be some sort of meteor shower. I need Jim Galvin to let me know. He always did, about what was going on in the skies. I miss Jim on a lot of levels now, and just thought he was away for a while. Well, he's away. I'm not going to see him anymore, at least on this plane again. But thinking about the skies and a warm wind blowing the stars around, somebody on the river said today that a meteor shower is coming soon, a big one. The 1-0 pitch swung on and fouled back by Kellen Siegel, batting for Maverick Russell. Good to see Kellen, who's been out for a while with a forearm, some forearm tightness. I think is done pitching and throwing, but he can swing a bat okay. And we're getting a look at Kellen here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out. 11-1 Knights in the 7th. The 1-1 breaking ball in there, and the count 1-2. We have a near full moon, which would render the viewing in the night skies a little less spectacular, but there is talk, some of us talking of heading up Mary's Peak after the ball game tomorrow night to view if indeed we have a big meteor shower kind of at its peak. Up will go to the peak. The pitch missing high in the count, 2-2. 1 out, nobody on, bottom of the 7th. Out of the stretch comes the left-hander Aiden Bray. Kellen lifts a high foul into the upper grandstand to our right. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. The finest meteor shower star show I ever saw was in the observatory outside of Bend on my birthday, circa 2008 or 9, making a trip over with the entire family for a Corvallis Knights Bend Elks game and going to the observatory afterwards. And oh my goodness, it was incredible. The best viewing of the night sky I've ever had. The 2-2 pitch to Kellen, missing for ball 3. 3-2 the count, 1 out. 11-1 Knights, bottom of the 7th inning. From the stretch, Aiden Bray kicks and comes to the plate. Swung on and missed, strike 3, 2 down. Back-to-back strikeouts for Bray. Cole Katayama Stahl makes his way to the plate. Just thinking about how the West Coast League has been embraced by the citizens of the great city of Edmonton, so have the Bend Elks in the great city of Bend. Even with all of the National Association affiliated baseball through the years, Oakland, 73, the Bend Phillies, the Bend Rainbows, the Bend Phillies, Central Oregon Phillies, the Bend Bucks, the Colorado Rockies. Really some tremendous years of organized baseball in that sense, organized from the professional standpoint sense. But the Elks, it's good baseball. Woodbat Collegiate League baseball, and a huge hit. And a charter member are the Elks of the West Coast Collegiate Baseball League back in 2005. Jacoby Ellsbury played, I think, in what was called the Pacific International League or something to that effect. Have to double check on that, but yeah, the Pacific International League. The 1-1 pitch to Katayama Stahl misses for ball 2, 2-1. And it's, you can drive yourself crazy. Well, what if this didn't happen or that? The whole sliding doors phenomenon and how life could have taken different turns. The 2-1 pitch hit foul off to the left towards Waldo Way. 2-2 the count, but the Pacific International League served the city of Bend well in that, with the stadium nearly bulldozed. A Save Our Stadium campaign saved beautiful Vince Guenna in 2000. The Bend Elks came into existence that summer and played in the Pacific International League 2000 to 2004, encompassing the time that Jacoby Ellsbury played in the PIL and fell in love with college baseball. A 2-2 pitch missing for ball 3, 3-2. Had Vince Guenna been demolished, had the International League not been formed, had Jacoby not gotten a taste of collegiate ball in the summer of 2002, he might have signed out of getting drafted out of Madras, never been a Beaver, we wouldn't have the Jacoby Ellsbury clubhouse that we do here now down the left field line, or that trip to Omaha in 05, or the subsequent trips and championships. Bend playing a part in that, and that Jacoby enjoyed his experience and chose not to sign out of high school, but to come to Oregon State. Katayama Stahl hits one foul to the left and out of play. Aiden Bray delivers a 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4. Cole Katayama Stahl drawing a 2-out walk. Trey Swigert strides to the plate. The 11th walk issued tonight by Bend Elks pitching. Reason the Knights are comfortably in front, part of it anyway, 11-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Aiden Bray to the plate. Big swing and a miss by Trey. 0-1 the count. Independent baseball 95 to 98. No baseball in 1999, and that was shorn up by the saving of the stadium and the Bend Elks coming into existence. Again, they've been called different names through the years. The pitch in there for a strike and the count 0-1. They've been known in semi-pro days as the Elks, and they revived that. Johnny Pesky, I think, was a Bend Elk in 1936. The Bend Eagles, the Bend Loggers, the Bend Athletics, the Bend Phillies, the Central Oregon Phillies, the Bend Rainbows, the Bend Bucks. The pitch to Swigert, breaking ball taken. Strike 3 called. The inning is over, and again, Trey just kind of hangs around at the plate, and it's kind of hard for him to believe that he's been rung up again on a cold third. But the inning is over. Aiden Bray strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, and 1 left. We go to the 8th. A new pitcher coming in for the Knights. We will take a 2-minute pitching change break as we close in on ensuring a decisive winner-take-all game tomorrow. The Knights 11, Bend 1, back in 2 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Health insurance doesn't have to break the bank. 80% of Oregonians received financial assistance through OregonHealthcare.gov last year, and you might qualify too. At OregonHealthcare.gov, you can explore quality health plans from trusted insurers and find one that fits your budget and your needs. Our plans are built with you in mind, so you can compare prices and benefits, no sales tactics included. We're here to get you covered, Oregon.
Now batting, number 21, Teddy Tokai.
Top of the 8th inning, 11-1 Knights. Dominic Titone takes over on the mound for Corvallis. And his first pitch misses a little bit outside, ball 1 to Teddy Tokai. 11 runs, 9 hits for the Knights, a run, 2 hits. The run coming on a long home run by Easton Amundsen for Bend. The 1-0 pitch from Titone is low. Ball 2, 2-0. Teddy Tokheim, Jack Lafitte, and Zach Carlson, the scheduled hitters. Titone from the stretch delivers a strike. The ball popping in and out of the mid of Ian Fernandez, who's gone all the way. Titone back to the plate, swung out and missed. That evens the count at 2-2. The Knights' pitching has been tremendous tonight. Zach Johnson faced the minimum through 4 and set a really good tone. Tyler Bellerose allowed the long home run to Amundsen, but was very good. Other than that one swing, the pitch to Tokheim rolled foul outside of third. The count 2-2. Brooks Hatch has just delivered unto me the results of former Knights players and former Oregon State players in the major leagues tonight. Drew Rasmussen was brilliant last night in what turned out to be a no decision. Cal Raleigh blasting a 3-run home run last night, not off of Drew, but in the bottom of the 8th to send T-Mobile Park into near delirium. The 2-2 pitch high and away from Dominic, ball 3 to Tokheim, 3-2 the count. And Raleigh hit another one tonight. He and Julio Rodriguez on back-to-back pitches homered. What an incredible year for Cal Raleigh. Thank you, Dominic. Coney Island is the tune I was seeking from the great Van Morrison. Coney Island. Good song. 3-2 pitch hit foul. The count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trevor Larnach didn't play for the Twins. Brooks Lee went 1 for 4. Kansas City beat the Twins 2-0. Adley went 0 for 4. The Athletics beat the Orioles 11-3. DeTone's 3-2 pitch is high, ball 4. Dominic DeTone issues a leadoff walk to Teddy Tokheim. Jack Lafitte will come to the plate. Unless we have a hitter. No, we don't. Jack is hitting for himself. Stephen Kwan went 1 for 5 in the Guardians' 3-1 victory over the White Sox. Michael Conforto 1 for 1 with a run scored. The LA Dodgers with a 9-1 lead. Who they're playing isn't given, but they lead at 9-1. I don't want to go George Carlin on you here. Baseball scores tonight. The scores are 3-2, 4-1, and 6-5. But that's about what I did with that Dodger score. The 1-0 pitch, a line drive, base hit to right field. Antonio Castro does not get the baseball back in. Our pregame show guest, Quinn Dufort, does. Quinn now out in right field. Jack Lafitte with a base hit. That brings Zach Carlson to the plate. On the hit, Teddy Tokheim stops at second. Antonio Castro tonight with 3 runs batted in. Brooks Avery with an RBI, a couple of runs scored, 3 stolen bases. A bunt attempt missed by Zach Carlson, and the count 0-1. Ian Fernandez with a couple of hits, including a leadoff triple. Brock Kettleson with an RBI, a triple, and a run scored. All of that said, the Knights needed to get a strong pitching performance to make sure that they were going to get another shot at Bend tomorrow to settle the series. And they certainly got it from Zach Johnson, who went 4 near perfect innings to set the tone. And while the Knights had a lot of contributors offensively, Zach Johnson will be our Washington Park Advisors player of the game. Delaney Fiedler coming up to inquire. There you go, Delaney. I hope you approve. The strike, she puts the thumbs up. Thank you, Delaney. The strike 2 pitch missing low and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Zach Carlson. Zach Johnson faced the minimum through 4. 2 on, nobody out. Ben trailing 11-1. The Elks trying to show some fight here down the stretch and hope to translate it into a complete ball game tomorrow. And they get another base hit here, and will put a little pressure on the Knights. Teddy Tokheim scores. Quinn Dufort gets the ball back in. Now the Knights 11 and Bend 2 on the Zach Carlson RBI single to right. On the play, Jack Lafitte goes to third. Eli Pupo will be the hitter. Eli has struck out twice. If the Knights don't let this all slip away, and they're up 9 in the 8th, the Knights have rallied at home 6 times in 1-0 deficits to win playoff series. So if they're able to win this ball game and force a decisive game 3 tomorrow, and they lead at 11-2. Tatone's first pitch missing low and inside to Pupo, ball 1, 1-0. Brooks Hatch doing some research and shows that they have history on their side in that decisive game at home. Defeating Bend in 2008 and 11 in a decisive game 3 here. Line drive foul down the left field line off the bat of Pupo. The count 1-1. Against Yakima in 2017, 2021, and 2022 after losing the first game, rallying to come back to win, and then against Cowlitz in 23, they won titles in all of those years. In spite of spotting the opposition game one in a playoff series in 2008, 2011, 2017, 2021, 2022, and 2023. They hope that, again, history serves them well tomorrow. If they get there, they're up 11-2. The 2-1 pitch to Tone misses for ball 3, 3-1. Dominic Tone, issuing a leadoff walk, has given up back-to-back hits, is now behind a Pupo 3-1. Eli swings, sends a fly ball to left and playable. This will get a run home. The throw comes back into second base with Jack Lafitte coming down the line to score. Brooks Avery on the catch. The sacrifice fly for Pupo. But the big thing for Dominic Tone and the Knights, just get outs. It's now 11-3, Corvallis. One away in the top of the 8th.
Now batting, number 3, Benji Solano.
And that'll bring Benji Solano to the plate. Benji is 0 for 3. 11-3 Knights. Top of the 8th inning. Dominic Tone delivers in the turf. Good block by Ian Fernandez. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Dominic from the stretch, the lefty to the plate, swung on and missed. 1-1 to Benji Solano. Good to see Micah von Schimmelman in the house tonight. Micah informed me that he is playing bass for the band The Brook and the Bluff out of Nashville and starting to make their mark. I like the name. The pitch on the way, swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. The Brook and the Bluff. 1-2 the count with 1 out, top of the 8th inning. 11-3 Knights, scoring 6 runs with just 1 hit. 6 walks in that 6-run first inning. A fly ball into shallow center field and trouble. Going out, though, to make an incredible over-the-shoulder catch. Blake Wilson, 2 down. What a play by Blake. The Knights, the last couple of innings, have had sterling defensive plays. Cole Katayama's stall to end the 7th. Blake Wilson snaring that foul fly ball over his shoulder, back turn to the plate. Tremendous play for the 2nd out of the inning. Makoa Sniffen, the hitter, has walked, popped to short, and grounded to 3rd. 2 outs in the inning. The pitch from Dominic in the turf for ball 1, 1-0. Sidney Pointer, our correspondent on many things, and Beavers in the Bigs, says that Cal Raleigh hitting his 44th tonight. The record is 48 for home runs by a catcher. A broken bat. I mean, that thing is shattered. Swung on and fouled by Makoa Sniffen. And he will get himself a new piece of wood to work with. That ball from Tone really sawing the barrel in half. The 44th home run for Cal Raleigh tonight. The Mariners are up big. Unless things have changed, with apologies to Dylan and Coney Island. Thank you, Dominic. You like that song too, Dominic? It's a good one, right? From Avalon Sunset, a tremendous album. Makoa Sniffen looking for a new bat. Cal Raleigh hitting his 44th tonight. The record for home runs by a catcher is 48. In second place, Johnny Bench with 45, I think in 1970. Yogi Berra said as Bench to pro. Yogi was the previous record holder for home runs by a catcher in a season. And as Bench approached him in that 70 season, Yogi said, "I thought the record would stand until it was broken." The 1-1 pitch whacked into left field by the diving Blake Wilson for a base hit. Makoa Sniffen getting a single to left. Zach Carlson into second. Andrew Graham, the batter, 2 on and 2 out. It has not been the best of frames for Dominic Tone. He'll be in a better frame of mind if he can get the final out here with the damage limited to 2 runs. Bo Kearns hasn't made a visit yet, but Dominic perhaps will hear from Bo if anything else occurs in the inning in the form of a base hit or a run. Andrew Graham fouls one into the forbidden zone to my right. No balls and a strike. I can't remember the name of that catcher who hit 48. That was not that many years ago. 48 home runs by a catcher. Whom. The strike 1 pitch in there for strike 2 to Andrew Graham. Johnny's 45 and 70 stood a long time until 4 or 5, 6 years ago when a catcher hit 48. Cal Raleigh appears to be on his way to breaking home runs by a catcher in a season, now at 44. The strike 2 pitch, a fly ball to right field. Quinn Dufort drifts over and back a few steps, makes the catch. The inning is over. Bend shows some life offensively. They get a couple of runs on 3 hits in the inning, no errors. The Elks leave 2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Knights 11, the Elks 3. We'll be back in 90 on the Knights live stream, KBVR-TV, and Joe Radio. Inning, that moon that I alluded to. Wow, an impressive sight. A lot of folks gawking now here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, coming around the big trees and coming into view on the horizon as we look east from our vantage point at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Impressive. Not high in the sky, but will be later, and that would again have an effect. I don't know what position she'll be in tomorrow night if we try to catch the meteor shower, but the moon itself puts on a good show tonight for sure. Coming up through the trees, and fans gazing at it, gawking and impressed. The Knights have been impressive tonight. They lead it 11-3, bottom of the 8th inning. Ian Fernandez, the batter, swings and drives one toward the moon into left center field. At least the moon in full vision. Fernandez tripled last inning to lead off, and he's on his way for 3 again, but the ball went through the fence out in left center, preventing one of the rarest of things in baseball, and that is back-to-back triples for a guy. Ian Fernandez, in this case, tripled to lead off the 6th inning. Here in the 8th, I think he would have gotten another triple, but the ball went through a panel in the fence out in left center field. The third base umpire, Lance Kreck, is heading out. Both outfielders for the Elks threw their hands into the air, saying the ball went through the bottom of the fence. There's a little bit of a gap evidently out there. Lance Kreck wanders out, kind of pushes the fence panel retrieves the baseball. And I'm not sure where he was trying to throw it, but he threw it off the fence. The carom played by the left fielder Teddy Tokheim, and the moon now does come into full and amazing view beyond left center field. The umpires are going to get together and talk about this, because I think Brooke Knight said, look, if that ball didn't go through and out of the field of play, then it's up to the outfielders to try to make a play on the ball. Both outfielders threw their hands in the air, indicating that they couldn't get to the baseball because it went through a gap in the fence in left center. Brooke Knight's contention is, well, if they can reach the ball, even if it requires a slight reach, I think into the panel of the fence or whatever, if the ball's still visible and reachable, they've got to make an attempt on it. And I think that's what Brooke is bringing to the attention of the umpires, and they want Ian Fernandez, Brooke does, to have a chance to get another triple. And the umpires would judge, well, it's either a ground rule double or we don't think he could have gotten to third. I'm not sure what they talked about or decided. But Ian Fernandez has to settle for a double instead. He has 3 hits on the night, a single, double, and a triple. I don't think he's going to get another chance to hit unless the Knights go on a barrage here in the bottom of the 8th, so no chance for the cycle, but that's impressive. A single, a triple, and a double for Fernandez. Quinn Dufort, the batter, took over for Antonio Castro. Quinn was my pregame show guest, and I really enjoyed the visit with a young man who's had a tough summer, but good for him. He's worked hard. He's been conscientious in laying low, and certainly laid low by mononucleosis. It hit him very hard, like a truck, he said, and knocked him out for quite a while. The 1-0 pitch, a strike to Quinn, and the count 1-1. 11-3 Knights, bottom of the 8th inning. But he was told that he would likely be shut down for the summer when he got mono in just the second week of the season in early June. But here he is in the postseason, trying to make a contribution. Talented two-way player who will go to the Bluff this fall, and after not playing in his redshirt campaign, looked to be a big contributor both on the mound and in the field for Coach Loomis and the Pilots. On the Bluff and the brook not far, the big brook known as the Willamette over the Bluff, the brook and the Bluff, the Bluff and the brook, the brook and the Bluff. The 2-1 pitch hit foul off to the left and out of play. The brook and the Bluff, the band that Micah Von Schimmelman is the bassist for. I'm going to look them up on my way home. And I think listen to Coney Island for the old time's sake. I haven't heard it for a while. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. 11-3 Knights in the bottom of the 8th inning. A leadoff double for Ian Fernandez. The Knights have had 2 leadoff triples and a leadoff double here in the later innings. Dufort takes high, ball 3, 3-2. The Knights are 3 outs away from an elimination game tomorrow for both clubs. The decisive game 3 of this best 2 out of 3 playoffs. 6:06 here at the ballpark. It's going to be a hot one tomorrow. The 3-2 pitch, Quinn swings and hits it foul Waldo way, and it actually stays in the yard into the upper grandstand, and a bunch of youngsters over there. Part of a crowd tonight of 1,043, a really good number for a playoff game. 1,043 here at GA. Aiden Bray delivers a 3-2 pitch, a ground ball to second. Throw to first from Makoa Sniffen gets Quinn Dufort. 1 away, Brooks Avery, the hitter. That looks about full. I don't have a phases of the moon thing in front of me, but that may indeed be a full moon tonight. It's impressive. Glorious sight as we look out above the left center field fence to the east at about 20 after 9 o'clock on this 9th of August. Brooks Avery takes ball 1, 1-0. a poignant day for me in my life as a fan, this date. I remember the news, and it gave me pause when I heard it. The 1-0 pitch, Avery swings and it's one foul towards the Omaha room to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike. Don Sutton, the late and great Don Sutton, saw his major league career end on this date, August 9th of 1988. Sutton, after being on the DL for the only time in his career, late in his career. Brooks Avery hit by a pitch and will trot down to first. Aiden Bray hitting him, bringing Blake Wilson to the plate. Don Sutton pitched in a game for the Cincinnati Reds. Came off the DL, pitched in a game for the Reds, one more game in the big leagues, and then the Reds released him. I think it was all sort of pre-planned. Look, you're going to get one more game. You'd only been on the DL once in your incredible career. You come off, you'll pitch, and we're releasing you, and that's what they did. August 9th, 1988. But I remember when I heard the news on the radio or somewhere driving around, the radio, they weren't necessarily talking about backup quarterbacks in the NFL, actually talking a little bit about baseball in August in '88. And the baseball news was that Don Sutton had been released. And you know how I didn't drive off the road. It wasn't that dramatic, but I paused while driving and said, oh my goodness. Because the very first game I saw, the first baseball game I ever saw, Don Sutton pitched in, June 17th of 1966. Blake Wilson taking ball 1. 1-0 the count, 11-3 Knights, bottom of the 8th inning. 2 on with 1 out. So from June 17th to 1966, the arc of Sutton's career and life. I watched him at Dodger Stadium the first time I saw a baseball game. He gave up a 3-run home run to stretch to Willie McCovey. I cried most of the way home. McCovey beat me 4-1. Gaylord Perry got the win, and I cried. If not all the way home, a lot of the time, and my dad trying to comfort me. I was 7. A throw to first, and back to the bag dives Brooks Avery. Brooks shouldn't be running now. I don't think he's going anywhere. Runners at the corners, 1 out, 11-3 Knights in the 8th, but Aiden Bray doesn't want Brooks to take advantage of him as Aiden saw Brooks do the last time. Blake Wilson swings and fouls it back, the count 1-2. From June 17th to 66, seeing the rookie Don Sutton to hearing the news 22 years later that he'd been released. In a moment, I thought about all of his life, my own. It was a poignant moment. August 9th, 1988, when the career of Don Sutton came to an end. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Blake, a drive to left field and pretty deep. This will get a run home. Teddy Tokheim back to make the catch. Tagging up and scoring from third on the sacrifice fly is Ian Fernandez. An RBI sac fly. Blake Wilson gets it done, and the Knights lead it 12-3. 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. Brock Kettleson, the batter. Brooks Avery at first. The Knights with 6 runs in the first, a run in the third, a run in the fourth, a run in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, and now 1 here in the 8th. 6:06 tomorrow night. Van Froling, the likely starter for the Knights, and he will try to pitch the Knights into an encounter with Portland on Tuesday at Walker Stadium at Lentz Park. If the Knights win tomorrow, that would be their destination. It would be a happening, no doubt, with the Pickles fans coming out in full force to cheer on their beloved Portland club. The first pitch, a strike to Brock Kettleson, 0-1 the count. Bray delivers a slow roller to short. Fielding the baseball is Benji Solano. Throws to first to get Kettleson. The Knights get another run for good measure, and we go to the top of the 9th inning. Under the full moon, we'll see a new pitcher coming in looking for the final 3 outs as we approach 9:30 on a very pleasant Saturday night here in the Mid-Valley. It's going to be a hot one tomorrow when the Knights and Elks settle the series, but we hope you'll come out. The fans have enjoyed the atmosphere tonight, to be sure. 1,043. Hoping to see It looks like Michael Singleton trying to bring the final 3 outs home. At the end of 8, the Knights 12, Bend 3, back in 2 on KBVR-TV, the Knights live stream, and Joe Radio.
Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Number 36, Easton Amundsen.
Easton Amundsen defied the 4 outfielder alignment when he came to the plate back in the 5th inning. He hit one over the right field fence a long way out. The Knights go back to the same strategy, nevertheless, leading 12-3 in the top of the 9th. Michael Singleton out of George Fox delivers to Amundsen, who swings and fouls the first pitch back. 0-1 the count. Singleton's 0-1 pitch pulled sharply foul in front of the Bend Elks dugout, the count 0-2. Amundsen has struck out, had the monstrous home run to right, and flied to deep center. Brock Kettleson, legs crossed, arms folded out in center field. A very casual look out there as Michael Singleton gets ready to come back to the plate with the 0-2 pitch. Misses high, ball 1-2. Kettleson is always at the ready, though. We shouldn't misconstrue what appears to be kind of a nonchalant, casual posture on his part as not being ready, or like Ted Williams going through swings out in the outfield between pitches. Amundsen fooled the off-speed pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Good job by Michael Singleton to strike out Amundsen for the first out in the top of the 9th inning. 1 away, the Knights 2 outs away from officially putting this one in the books. In a very real sense, the game felt over back in the first inning when the Knights scored 6 to take a commanding 6-0 lead, and they have cruised throughout tonight. Up 12-3, 1 away. The batter is Noah Belanco. Noah getting his second at bat of the night, grounded to third, and an excellent play back of third by Cole Katayama-Stahl. 2 tremendous defensive plays tonight by the Knights' left side of the infield. Katayama-Stahl in the 6th inning, in the 7th, I should say, and then Blake Wilson in the 8th. Singleton misses again. Ball 2, 2-0 to Belanco. Michael delivers a 2-0 pitch, runs down and in. Ball 3, 3-0. 6:06 tomorrow night. Van Froling, the likely starter for the Corvallis Knights, as the Knights and Elks will settle this thing in a decisive Game 3. The 3-0 pitch is outside, ball 4. Belanco drawing the walk here in the 9th inning with 1 out. Teddy Tokheim, the batter. Teddy has flied to right twice, walked and scored.
21.
What's that?
Tokai.
Okay, well, you can. Out of the stretch works Michael Singleton, the right-hander out of George Fox. Fastball in and out of the mid of Ian Fernandez. Ball 1, 1-0.
Who are you saying that to?
Well, I've got a young man asking me who I'm saying it to. I'm saying it to KBVR-TV, the night's live stream, and to 1240 Joe Radio. So it's on the radio, it's on a YouTube broadcast. Here, oh my goodness, look at Bo Kearns. Singleton delivers, and Bo Kearns with a dead sprint. Something you might see at Hayward Field in the Olympic trials of the championships. That fast. To get out to the mound to say, look, stop, enough. And he sprints back. A little bit like George Herbert, striking the board and crying, no more. Herbert said, I strike the board and cry, no more, I will abroad. Well, in this case, he struck the top of the dugout steps and ran out and said, no more. If you throw any more balls, I will abroad. The 2-0 pitch, high and inside, ball 3. Now, Singleton's not out there saying, I think I'm just going to throw a bunch of balls. I mean, sometimes the message can be almost oppressing, not that Bo's an oppressor. But now Singleton knows that he may not be long for the game if he keeps putting people on, and the 3-0 pitch is ball 4. Back-to-back walks issued by Michael Singleton after he got a strikeout to open the inning. That's the fastest I've ever seen Bo Kearns get out to the mound. Shades of Pat Casey back in the day. I've seen Pat sprint out a few times in the earlier years in his tremendous era here. If a pitcher with a lead was putting people on. And so now Jack Lafitte, the batter, after back-to-back walks. Singleton, I think, can get back on task now. It might have been a little off-putting for Michael to get the kind of visit that he did. It may have shook him up just a little bit, and I think that was Bo's intent. Look, I'm coming, and I got a message, and it's throw strikes. You're up 9 runs in the ninth. The strike one pitch is another well-pitched baseball. Hit foul off first into the Omaha Room grandstand, and the count 0-2. It may have been a bit of a lost cause with Tokheim, but I think the message, I know it was delivered, and I think it's gotten through to Singleton after walking Tokheim. He's ahead to Lafitte. No balls and 2 strikes. Singleton ready, the strike 2 pitch, a fly ball to center, and there you go. That's what Bo Kearns was looking for. Throw strikes, pitch to contact, and there's an out. Kettleson the catch on the fly ball off the bat of Jack Lafitte. 2 down, Zach Carlson the batter.
Zach Carlson.
George Herbert was a brilliant, wonderful poet, but my favorite line of his of all time is indeed, I struck the board and cried, no more, I will abroad. He's writing in the 17th century, so, but I still get it, right? Even though he's a long time ago, you all understand that. You've all felt that. We've all wanted to strike the board and cry no more. First pitch in there for a strike from Michael Singleton now to Zach Carlson. The strike 1 pitch missing in the count 1-1. And that it just struck me as that was a George Herbert type moment for Bo Kearns. 2 on, 2 out, the 1-1 pitch outside, ball 2, 2-1. Singleton with a strikeout and a flyout, a couple of walks mixed in. The biggest thing he wants to do now is pitch to contact and try to get the 27th out and officially put this one in the books. He delivers outside, ball 3, 3-1. Eli Pupo on deck. 12-3 Knights, top of the 9th inning. Singleton with a 9-run lead, trying to get the right edge and concentration back. Delivers, swung on and fouled back. So Michael is a strike away. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Noah Belanco and Teddy Tokheim will take off on the pitch. Knights fans getting into the spirit of things, trying to help Michael get the final strike, the final out. The runners go. The 3-2 pitch is low and inside for ball 4 to load the bases. Knights pitching has been tremendous tonight. The Knights have only walked 2 until this inning. Now Singleton with 3 free passes. Eli Pupo, the hitter. 12-3 Knights in the top of the 9th inning on a warm, pleasant night. Bases loaded, 2 down. Pupo takes low and inside, ball 1. Yeah, 1-0. 1 ball and no strikes. Michael Singleton looking for that final out, delivers way inside for ball 2. And now Ian Fernandez will take a crack at it, and you hope that the crack is good. He goes out to have a visit with Michael Singleton with the bases loaded. 2 down, top of the 9th, 12-3. Ian is, I think, speaking a calming word to Michael here. Ian's a tremendous leader, catcher. He's going to have a huge year next year at UC Santa Barbara. It's been a delight to have in the program. I like that visit. That's underscoring the message delivered by Coach Kearns, but I think just trying in his own way now to help Michael come back to the strike zone. But the 2-0 pitch is high for ball 3. It'll be an interesting play here for Bo Kearns and the Knights if he issues ball 4. I don't know if anyone's throwing or not. The 3-0 pitch is a strike and the count 3-1. It would be a sweet moment for Michael, I think, just to work his way through this. He hasn't been scored on. It's 12-3 in the 9th. Bases loaded, 2 down. The 3-1 pitch, foul back. So once again, he is on the verge of ending it. The runners will go on the 3-2 pitch with 2 down. Noah Belanco from third, Teddy Tokheim from second, Zach Carlson from first. 12-3 Knights in the 9th. The 3-2 pitch pulled, foul. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. It's possible that Eli Pupo swung at ball 4, but he'd love to put the ball in play, drive in some runs, feel a little bit better going into tomorrow. Another 3-2 pitch is fouled away, off to the left and out of play. The count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes with the bases loaded and 2 down in the top of the 9th. Belanco from third, Tokheim from second, Carlson from first, Singleton from the stretch. The runners go. The 3-2 pitch, a fly ball to left field. Brooks Avery is there to make the catch. And how about that? Michael Singleton puts up a 0. And the Corvallis Knights keep their 2025 season alive, their championship hopes alive. After losing last night in Bend, they come back and defeat the Bend Elks tonight soundly, 12-3, and that sets up a winner-take-all game tomorrow. Game 3 at 6:06. Going to be a hot one, maybe triple digits tomorrow, so whatever swimming hole or means of cooling yourself off you find, we hope that through the end of it all, you'll come back and join us and cheer on the Knights as they try to win this South Division Series and then play for the South Division Championship in Portland on Tuesday. Brooke Knight is visiting. Thank you, guys. Are you related to a player?
We are not.
Oh,
no, we went.
Okay, hang on just a second. So I'm going to hang on just a second. I'm saying game of the season last night, came over here tonight, and will stay the night, I hope, and be back tomorrow for the champion. Nope, are you going home? I did the same thing yesterday. I drove over, called the game, and came back, so I know that trip. Hang on just a second. The Knights do play their way into the championship game of this series tomorrow. They defeat the Bend Elks 12-3. Thanks to all of you for tuning our way tonight. KBVR-TV, 1240 Joe Radio, and the Knights YouTube channel. We'll be back at it tomorrow night at 6:06. Again, our final score, the Knights 12 and Bend 3 under the dazzling, beautiful full moon on a warm night, 80-plus degrees. A great place to be, and we're going to do it again tomorrow night. The Knights 12, Bend 3. We'll settle it tomorrow at 6:06. Thanks for joining us on the Knights live stream, KBVR and Joe Radio. So long, everybody.